Have you ever wondered what really happens after we take our last breath? Is it just darkness, or is there something more, something unseen, mysterious, and powerful? For thousands of years, Tibetan monks have believed in something beyond our physical world. One of their most sacred and mysterious texts is called the Bardo Thodol, known in the West as the Tibetan Book of the Dead. But it's not a scary book about ghosts. Instead, it's a spiritual guidebook meant to help the soul on its journey after death. This ancient text doesn't just speak to monks or mystics. It speaks to all of us, because death is something we all must face. And maybe, just maybe, it holds the key to understanding life itself. In this journey, we'll explore what the Bardo Thodol teaches about the mind, death, and rebirth, and how preparing for the end might actually help us live more deeply, fully, and fearlessly. The Tibetan Book of the Dead wasn't written by an ordinary monk. It was created by Padmasambhava, a legendary master from 8th century India. He wasn't just a teacher, he was a spiritual force. Known in Tibet as Guru Rinpoche, meaning precious master, Padmasambhava changed the spiritual landscape of an entire nation. Tibet at the time was a land of ancient rituals, shamanic practices, and the Bon religion, rich, chaotic, and deeply rooted. Padmasambhava didn't try to destroy this tradition. Instead, he embraced it, integrated it, and transformed it. Using deep meditation, mystical rituals, and compassion, he tamed the spiritual energies of Tibet and introduced Buddhist teachings that honored the soul's journey, even after death. The Bardo Thodol wasn't meant only for the living. It was a lifeline for the dead, a final chance at freedom. Padmasambhava believed that even after death, the soul could awaken. That's why he gave the world this sacred map. Padmasambhava didn't see death as an ending. He saw it as a rare and powerful opportunity. When the body dies, the mind becomes free, free from distraction, free from illusion. And in that stillness, something beautiful happens. The soul can finally see the truth. But most of us aren't ready. When we die, fear clouds our vision. We cling to what we know. We get lost. Padmasambhava's mission was to stop that from happening. He created the Bardo Thodol as a guide, a sacred text that could be read to the dying or studied during life. It shows the mind what to expect after death, so we're not lost when that moment comes. His message was simple but powerful. It's never too late. Even in our final breath, there's a doorway to liberation. He believed that death could be our greatest teacher, if only we're willing to listen. In Tibetan teachings, there are 3 bardos, or in-between states that the soul experiences after death. The first is the Chikai Bardo, the moment of death itself. This is when the body begins to dissolve and consciousness is set free. In this moment, the soul sees something extraordinary. A bright, clear, radiant light. This is the clear light, the purest form of mind itself, limitless, peaceful, and beyond fear. For the awakened, this is liberation. Recognizing that this light is part of you leads to instant freedom from rebirth. But for those not prepared, this brilliance can feel terrifying. They mistake it for danger, and the chance is lost. The Chikai Bardo is like a test, one that doesn't care about religion or belief. It's about presence. If you can meet the light with peace instead of fear, you're free. But if you retreat, the journey continues into deeper illusions. The second state is the Choni Bardo, the Bardo of visions. Now, the soul has no body, no physical senses, only raw consciousness. And in this state, the mind shows everything it's ever feared, desired, or suppressed. These are not random dreams. They're projections of your own mind. You might see peaceful visions, beings of light, Buddhas, or glowing deities. They represent the good within you, your higher self. But if you don't recognize them, you miss the message. Then come the wrathful visions, terrifying figures that seem like demons. But even they are parts of you. Anger, fear, desires you couldn't control. These aren't punishments, they're mirrors. The Chonid Bardo is powerful because what you see depends on who you are inside. If you understand the visions are just your mind playing out, you can find peace. But if you believe they're real, the fear grows, and you remain trapped in illusion. In the Chonid Bardo, everything is amplified. Because there's no body, the mind operates in full force. Emotions, memories, fears, they come alive with intense clarity. Think of it like a dream, but one you can't wake up from. Only it's more vivid, more real, and deeply emotional. And yet, it's still just the mind. These visions aren't punishments, they're chances. Every peaceful or scary image is a lesson. Each one shows an aspect of yourself that's asking to be understood. If the soul can stay calm and remember that all these visions are just thoughts with no real power, it can move toward enlightenment. The trick is to focus on the clear light, the radiant truth behind all these mental projections. It's like the sun behind storm clouds. The visions pass, the light remains, and if you stay centered, that light will guide you home. The greatest danger in the Chonid Bardo isn't the visions, it's fear and attachment. When the soul is afraid of the wrathful images or clings to the peaceful ones, it loses balance. Fear builds walls, attachment builds chains, and both keep the soul trapped in samsara, the endless cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. But there's a secret here. None of it is real. This idea is called shunyata in Buddhism, emptiness. It means all things, even terrifying visions, are just passing expressions with no true substance. If the soul remembers this, if it can observe without reacting, it can find peace even in the storm. That's why spiritual practice in life matters so much. Meditation trains the mind to witness without clinging or fearing. The Chonid Bardo is like a final test. Pass it and you're free. Fail it and the cycle begins again. Now we enter the third Bardo, the Siddha Bardo, the stage of rebirth. At this point, the soul is full of karmic energy. All its thoughts, actions, and intentions pull it toward new life. It doesn't happen by choice. It happens like gravity. Whatever is unresolved pulls the soul back into the cycle. In this Bardo, the soul sees visions of parents, symbolic couples, and is instinctively drawn to a new body. The force of karma is strong. Fear, desire, and longing push the soul to be reborn. But there's still one final chance. If the soul can remain detached and recognize these visions as illusions, it can stop the cycle and return to the clear light. The Siddha Bardo is a storm, a pull, a vortex. But if the mind has trained in life to stay clear and centered, it might just escape rebirth and reach true freedom. In the Siddha Bardo, the soul isn't thinking clearly. It's pulled by deep instincts and leftover emotions from its previous life. It doesn't choose its next body the way we choose clothes. Instead, the soul is magnetically drawn to situations that match its inner state, its unresolved pain, desires, or fears. If the soul carries anger, it may be reborn in a world full of conflict. If it carries deep longing, it may return into a life of searching. This is the silent work of karma, not as punishment, but as reflection. But what if the soul pauses? What if it sees this moment for what it is? That's the last chance, the final gate before another cycle begins. The Bardo Thodol urges the soul to stay aware, to observe without desire. Because if we can avoid grasping for life out of fear, we might escape the wheel altogether and awaken into freedom. In the Siddha Bardo, visions begin to shift. The soul sees symbolic images of birth, like couples in union or warm, inviting lights. These aren't real. They're mental representations of rebirth. The soul, filled with leftover desires, starts to feel pulled toward these images. It's almost instinctual, a pull toward being someone again, toward form, identity, a new story. But here's where clarity matters most. The Bardo Thodol teaches, if the soul can recognize this attraction as a trap of illusion, it can resist. It can stay in the space between. If awareness holds, liberation is still possible. In this final stretch, calmness is power. Detachment is freedom. The soul that remembers to observe instead of react has the greatest chance of breaking free from the cycle of rebirth. The urge to exist is strong in the Siddha Bardo. It's like a storm inside the soul. The soul wants to be again, to feel, to live, to escape the in-between. But this very urge is what keeps it trapped. The stronger the desire, the faster it falls into a new life. Rebirth doesn't happen through clear choice. It happens through impulse. Whatever emotions dominate the soul's state, fear, lust, guilt, those guide where it lands next. And yet, this doesn't have to be a curse. Buddhism teaches that each life is a chance, an opportunity to learn, evolve, and reach freedom. But without awareness, most fall into old patterns, reliving the same pain again and again. The Bardo Thodol urges us, prepare in life, so in death you can pause. If you want true freedom, you must train the mind to see beyond illusion, even in the storm. The Bardo Thodol makes one thing very clear. Preparation starts in life. It's not about waiting for death to suddenly bring enlightenment. It's about training the mind now, through meditation, reflection, and awareness. When we meditate, we learn to witness without reacting. When we reflect on death, we strip away the fear. These practices build the mental strength needed for the Bardos. Without them, the soul is like a leaf in the wind, blown around by every thought and fear. But with awareness, the soul becomes steady like a mountain. In life, we run from discomfort, but in death, there's nowhere to hide. The only way through is inner clarity. Padmasambhava didn't offer fear. He offered hope, that with practice, we can meet death like a master, not a victim. And in doing so, we don't just prepare for the end. We learn to truly live. The Siddha Bardo teaches a simple but life-changing truth. Our lives reflect our minds. Wherever our soul is, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, that's what shapes our rebirth. If we hold on to pain, we attract more pain. If we carry peace, we invite peace. This is not about reward or punishment. It's about resonance. Karma isn't a judge, it's a mirror. So every fear, every desire, every grudge becomes part of our soul's blueprint. When death comes, these energies lead the way. But this also means we're not powerless. Every act of self-awareness, every moment of stillness, every time we let go, that shapes our path forward. The Siddha Bardo reminds us that the journey doesn't start after death. It's already happening, right now. Every thought is a seed, every emotion a direction. The urge to be born again is almost impossible to resist. It feels natural, comforting even. But Tibetan teachings say that this is the trap. Most souls don't see it. They think rebirth is a fresh start. But really, it's just the same wheel turning over and over. New faces, same patterns. That's why detachment is so important. If you can look at those final visions, the new body, the new life, and simply let them pass, you've already won. This doesn't mean rejecting life. It means choosing clarity over craving, choosing stillness over impulse. The Sidba Bardo isn't your enemy. It's your last chance. If you can meet it with wisdom, you step off the wheel forever. So what is freedom, really? According to the Bardo Thodol, it's not about escaping life. It's about escaping illusion. When you understand that everything, your name, your body, your fears, your dreams, is temporary, you stop being controlled by them. Freedom comes when you remember the clear light, that eternal awareness beyond all form. It's always there, behind the chaos, behind the stories. But to find it, you must practice. You must learn to see clearly, to stay centered when everything around you dissolves. True freedom isn't given, it's claimed, moment by moment, by a mind that sees through the fog. And that journey doesn't begin after death. It begins with every breath you take right now. The Bardo Thodol is more than a sacred text. It's a mirror for your mind, your fears, and your destiny. It doesn't ask you to believe. It asks you to look, to listen, to prepare. Because death isn't the end of the story. It's the beginning of a choice. Repeat or awaken. This ancient guide invites us to live now with the awareness we'll need later, to stop running from death and start learning from it. As spiritual teacher Ram Dass once said, "When you die, there's only one question that matters. How much did you love?" So, reflect. Are you ready to let go of what you think you are? Are you ready to wake up? Maybe in preparing for death, we finally learn how to live.
Hey everyone, welcome to, what is it, episode 25? I think episode 25 of Live from the Hermitage, and we are in fact here at the Dharma Wheel Hermitage. Here is one of my co-hosts, Xander Bay. Come over to say good evening to everybody. Let me get my coffee out of the way for you, Zam. And he's a very good boy. He's been a very good boy this week. And here's Avy's coming out to say hi to you. Come here, kid. Everybody's coming out to say hi to the peeps. So hello, everyone. As promised, a fireside chat with the Dharma Bum and the boys. And here are my boys. It's kind of chilly up here, guys. So we might light the fire like pretty early, comparatively speaking. We usually wait till sundown, but I'm freezing. So I may fire it up and start stoking the coals. Now, I know that my sis down there said already in the chat, she mentioned something about, I saw her, yeah, she's listening and cooking over her fire. You know, I'd be cooking too if somebody wants to donate me a grate. I'd throw some burgers on maybe or something like that after the show. But yeah, we're going to do a fire, and tonight, you know, just have some, you know, it's a Saturday night show. This is our weekly podcast, so obviously, for those who aren't a regular of the channel, we've been going through 49 days of, I guess you would call them death rites and prayers. We had a funeral up here for our dear Bruno, our Christmas miracle puppy, our Bodhisattva dog, who passed on April 28th. And so we're going through the standard sort of Vajrayana 49 days of prayers and rites for Bruno. And we'll be doing an update on that too. We'll have an update on this week's stuff some of the stuff we did. And that will continue for a couple more weeks. We're a little over halfway through that period of time. And I'm going to talk a little bit about it tonight, and in the direction of, like last week I sort of discussed, sort of in a broad sense what's going on. I think I'll hone down in on it a little bit more this week. And the video at the top of the stream, the little 17-minute clip on the Bardo Thodol, is there for a reason, and we'll get to that in a minute because we got some exciting channel news, guys, and we're going to do that at the top of the stream. So yeah, so it's been a powerful time up here in all sorts of ways. And this is the show during the week when somebody just, oh wow, my notifications are working. Did you guys see that on the stream? That's so cool. Good job, bot. Thank you, Vikram Kalika, for subscribing to the channel. So appreciate your love. Give a like to the video. Keep chatting. Say hi in the chat. The chat helps the algorithm too. This is a fairly long stream. We go at least a couple hours every week. So this is a regular show for the new folks. Hi, hello, welcome, Vikram Kalika. We'll call you Vic. How about that? Because I had a friend named Vic. That's kind of easy. Well, thank you. I appreciate the compliment. It's been a rough few weeks. So it's been a rough, I guess we'd call it a season, really, spring. I mean, it kind of defined our season, our spring up here, is this death that we had up here on the Hermitage. But one of the things I've been doing, Vikram Kalika, I mean, my show is all about the Hermitage. It's all about us and what we're doing. This is what we're doing. But also I've been sharing it in great detail. Detail that some might consider morbid, but I don't, in the vein of the idea of trying to reflect on, as the video at the top of the stream talked about, trying to reflect on the idea that the more that we come face to face with death in a really visceral way, like Theravada monks, they go and they meditate in graveyards, right, to do this. And so that's one way to sort of, like what I'm talking about, to really put your face in the face of death, to really put your hands on death, and not to be like terribly morbid about it, but we had a beautiful, wonderful creature. His name was Bruno, and he weighed as much as an average human, guys. When he passed, he was 150 pounds, maybe minus 10 from the disease that took him, but and we cremated him ourselves. You can see in the previous episodes of this show, actually, it's all contained in this particular podcast. We had the live stream of the funeral where we cremated Bruno, and then since then we've been doing all sorts of things, from dealing with the relics. So, I mean, for me personally, as the idea of trying to put, really my hands on death and really face it in a visceral way, as it was described in that video again at the beginning of the stream, I think I've really, I've done a remarkable job in the last few weeks. I mean, I took my baby Christmas puppy, my miracle Christmas puppy, and I put him on a pile of wood, and I incinerated him, and then I sifted through to get his relics, and I did it, and even now we're making reliquaries every week, and stuff like that, and I'm doing videos describing how to do that, how to go through that. It's quite a magical, actually. I mean, Vajrayana really, right, is Mahayana with magic, right? So, I mean, that's how I like to kind of semi-put it, but, and so let me catch up on the chat. Is all good? A rough season? Yeah, it's been a rough spring and a rough winter before that. And we only settled here October 5th of last year. We began the Hermitage, and we're doing a very rough homesteading. We've got a nice kit, but it's, you know, it's barely adequate, especially in a blizzard. So yeah, we've been making, well, if you go back through the videos, and we're going to show another one so you'll get a taste of it again tonight, because we're going to do an update here in a second if you stick around, stick about. And we light this fire, by the way, too. You know, it's a fireside chat. But the sun is, you know, late and setting now, right? Well, it's getting later by the day because we're heading into summer. So, but I'm going to do an update, and you'll see us working with reliquaries and whatnot. And then last week, you'll also see an update where we worked with a different kind of reliquary. And then next week, we're going to work with a different kind. And we basically do the reliquary work on the 1 week anniversaries, because you're supposed to pick, you're supposed to do something special on the 1 week. And we've as of late, as of this week, we've been getting up. Last week, actually, we've been getting up actually at the time that Bruno died, which was incredibly auspicious. And brace yourself for this, but I was very precise, because I jumped and grabbed my phone and, you know, immediately text messaged to everybody, like at the very moment that I was 100% sure he had passed. And he died in my arms with a kiss goodbye. And it was 1:08 a.m. on Tuesday, and the third Tuesday will be afterwards, is coming up. And the Tuesday you're going to look at this week, the update is from this past Tuesday, which was the midpoint, the 2 week moment, anniversary moment, or whatever you want to call it. But hey, I want to talk about my exciting channel news, guys, before I get all weepy sleepy and into the Bruno update. He went fast, which is a blessing in retrospect, because it was a pretty it was a horrific disease that took him. And he died well. He died at home. He died with his brothers, who you've already met. There's Xavi right there. You can see him in the stream. Xavi is my Chihuahua, and believe it or not, this guy was a mountain mastiff. He was 150 pounds at only 6 months old, and they were best friends. And so Xavi actually has taken it, probably, arguably the worst of all of us. I mean, I don't know. I mean, he comes up with me every morning. We still go up to the grave, and we put flowers and light incense and say prayers, and we just hang out. If it's a nice sunny, most of the mornings up here have been nice and sunny and warm, so we just hang out in the sunshine on the hillside. And it's up further on the property, up the hill, where we placed him. And then we had a wonderful thanks to Bone, who's in the chat. He's already said hi. He's around. We were able to really do a great funeral for him, where we had a nice cortege up to the top of the hill, where we put him and the boys in the pickup truck and played the pipes and rolled up the hill to the funeral pyre. So it's something, you can see it all, though. It's all been documented. And you know, that the reason I've been doing that is, you know, as a Buddhist minister, I feel compelled to share this moment. That's assuming I make it through it, hopefully, you know what I mean? I'd hate to have like a complete meltdown on YouTube. It came close during the funeral stream, I mean, I have to say, especially when I climbed on top of the funeral pyre to say goodbye before we lit it. I was, I have to say, 110% more of a mess than I've ever been live on the air. And I really afterwards kind of scratched my head and asked myself if I should have done that, but we did it. And it's in you can see it. It's about 2 or 3 episodes back from this episode, so it's all really still fresh, and that's why we're talking about it. But like I said, I got some exciting channel news, guys, and I got some viewers, so I want to get into it right this very second. So we're going to be adding guys to the lineup of everything we've been doing. For a long time, we've had kind of a stagnant lineup since I came up here. The only show we've really added that's had any kind of weight to it at all has been the Chainsaw Hermit show, where I do sort of the show you the homesteading tips and tricks of homesteading in the wild like this, off grid. And that one's a lot of fun to do. I haven't done an episode in a really long time, but we've got 2 new live streams coming on tap, and I think they're going to be a hit. I'm really super excited, and I can't wait to tell you about them. So the first one is actually, the first episode will be tomorrow, guys, and it's going to be a Buddhist Sunday service here at the Hermitage. And so for those who are Buddhist, especially Vajrayana Buddhist, but not necessarily, you know, we're open to all schools, but the flavor of it will definitely be Vajrayana. At first, we're going to start with a relatively short service, and there's going to be a prayer book. I'm going to have it for download, and then as I begin building out, I've sort of built a skeleton of what I want to do, and I'm going to build it out from there. And then we'll do special services, like I want to do a prayer for world peace service one of these Sundays, probably 2 or 3 Sundays from now, and we're going to hang a prayer flag on our main tree. We have a prayer flag tree that's 10 feet tall and 40 feet across, and it's gorgeous. And we're going to hang a prayer flag up there during one of the Sunday services for and we have a portable shrine. We can move it around the property. Right now it's actually down by Bruno's tree. Right now it's been there for days and days and weeks, actually. I think at this point, since after his funeral, we moved it down there to his tree, and we've been doing the reliquaries and stuff. But yeah, so it's going to be a Sunday service. It's going to be brief and to the point. It's a service, guys. And initially I'm going to leave the chat open, but it's just there so you can greet your friends briefly at the beginning or end or whatever, maybe send some prayer emojis or whatever. But generally speaking, it's not going to be like an interactive stream like this. It's just going to be a service. I'm going to do it. But here's the interesting news, and I don't know if Colm is tuned in tonight. I've been in correspondence with him today, but our friend from Ireland, but I think one of the things that will interest him, because he's one of a very small minority of my viewers who have been pushing me to teach. And when I say teach, I don't mean with a small t like I do on this show, give advice, this and that, but teach with a capital T. So part of the Buddhist Sunday service will be, in fact, that I will give a brief teaching. We'll read from scripture. We'll do a reading basically, and then I will speak briefly, hopefully, on that topic. And so yeah. So for those who seem to think that I have something to teach, I believe this will be particularly interesting news. Like I said, it's a very small percentile of the people who actually define a Vajrayana guy, and I'll try to join. I do not offer personality teachings. Vajrayana Buddhism is one of the 3 major schools of Buddhism, sort of, period, full stop. So there's Theravada Buddhism, and if you had to equate it to Christianity, if you wanted to have a window into it, it's a very rough analogy though, so this is not at all but your Theravadins would be your ultra-Orthodox, like your Greek Orthodox and people like that, your Syrian Orthodox and people like that have the very, very ancient Orthodox rites. The Theravada are the yellow robes. They're also defined kind of, the forest monks wear sort of a patchwork robe, but it's mostly sort of yellow. And they're mostly in Southeast Asia, places like Thailand, Vietnam, and places like that. And so that's your first school of Buddhism, Theravada. And then Mahayana was something that evolved very quickly after Buddha's death, and from some of his original disciples, it's believed. And from that school, you get 2 current iterations in modern times known as Zen Buddhism. You might be familiar with it. And then also Pure Land Buddhism would fall. And there's a few other minor schools that are interesting that fall also within the Mahayana umbrella, if you will. And then Vajrayana takes all of that concepts and layers on top, basically, I don't know, to put it the most simple way, it layers on top magic. I mean, there's no other way to put it, and I've actually listened to some teachers, and I'm going to talk about them in future episodes. These teachers that I've been listening to online actually discuss this, but it's, you can't, there's no way around it. The Western definition of what Vajrayana Buddhism practices is, what the other 2 schools practice, Theravada and Mahayana, but then they add on a layer of basically just plain and simple magic. is the easiest way to sort of first get your first foothold on it. I mean, it's more subtle than that. You could spend episodes and episodes talking about what Vajrayana is. That's the easy, quick bullet point effort. But anyway, join the Buddhist Sunday service, guys. It's going to start tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific. And again, please be we're not going to take questions in that stream. I will turn the chat. Most services, to be honest with you, most of the online services, like the one at the Garshen Institute, which is actually like personally one of my go-to services on Sunday, their live stream. But they turn, there is no chat. But I'll leave the chat on for now. But please, everybody, be respectful if you come to the service, and remember too that it is a service. The collection plate will be passed, so to speak. So, I mean, it's a full meal deal. So come and join and get a teaching from the Dharma Bum. So, I mean, if you don't know me, that's got to make you scratch your head and say, wonder what this guy's got to say. And then, and my first teaching will probably be brief and simple, and I'll stick to points I'm really sure about. I mean, I'm pretty learned in Buddhism. I've been a Buddhist now for almost 17 years, I think. I'll have to look it up. I think 16 at least. Maybe coming up on 17. And, but a minute. I've been a Buddhist a minute. And so I'm going to be teaching, I'm going to be dredging that well of experience. I have some academic background as well. I studied comparative religion at Ball State University. I'm enrolled at Columbia University right now for a Tibetan Buddhist class, and working towards various other academic certificates and whatnot, all online, thanks to the wonderful miracle of online. So anyway, that's the first show I want to announce for Channel News, guys. That's not even it, guys, because check this out. It gets a little bit more fun from here on out. Okay, I'm gonna do a morning show, guys. Everybody sit down. Take a deep breath. It's okay. Don't panic. I'm going to do a morning show. Coffee with the Dharma Bum, guys. Monday through Thursday. I have to have Friday off because I have to prepare for this show. But I'm going to do Monday through Thursday. It's going to start at 8 a.m. Pacific and just run till whenever. So yeah, brew it strong and come sit down and have some morning talk with the Dharma Bum, eh? And of course we'll do during the spring, starting right now, and then throughout pretty much the summer and most of the fall. It'll be outdoors. I'll be sitting out here like I am tonight, and but it'll be in the morning, right? And the mornings have really been great up here. That's when it's the least windy, very calm and nice, very sunny. The sun has been coming up, crystal clear skies, so it's really, and of course we're on a beautiful, if you don't know much about the Dharma Wheel Hermitage, you could look at some previous videos and check out how this place has evolved and what we're doing up here with the Hermitage, and trying to build a retreat center built by poor people, very poor people. I was homeless, guys, when I settled this place. You can look at the videos. It's true. It's in my YouTube channel. We were doing videos when we were home. We were doing YouTube videos when we were homeless, so you can see them. Just go back far enough, and you'll see them. And so this is a place built by poor people for poor people, and there's no talk about money, and obviously we don't care about dogs. I mean, we just don't bring anybody vicious up here, dogs. But I mean, your canines are certainly welcome here. As well, and we welcome also content creators, which is something that's unusual for retreat centers. So we're trying to have rules that are a little bit more open to the kind of people, frankly, that we are. Me and my friends and my people, right? So that's kind of the goal of the Dharma Wheel Hermitage. But so that'll be obviously from the Hermitage. Just like this show is broadcast live from the Hermitage. So Coffee with the Dharma Bum, guys. 8 a.m. Monday through Thursday. Tune in. Bring your talk radio. Bring your grumps. It's time to be grumpy. It's morning. Bring your gripes. We'll look at the news and get all throttled up for the day together about it. Mostly it'd be Buddhist news, though, to be honest with you. But I follow a lot of Buddhist channels, and I think we'll do a lot like checking in on the Dalai Lama and checking in on the Karmapa, and just seeing, there's a lot of great Buddhist news. If you just have the kind of channels that I have, the feeds coming into me, it's not hard at all. So we'll just open up some tabs and have some fun, talk, drink coffee, compare who's drinking what, brew it strong, and come hang out with the Dharma Bum in the morning. And if you're on your way to work, put it on your phone and set it on your dash or whatever, it'll be fine. Talk radio, man. It'll be great. So there it is, guys. New content, man. We've got the Sunday service every Sunday, 10 a.m. Probably be a 30-minute service this week, and grow maybe at the most a 45-minute service over time as I flesh out what I want to do with it. And then the morning show, which will start Monday. The first episode of the Sunday service will be tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. And then immediately following that Monday will be the first episode at 8 a.m. of Coffee with the Dharma Bum. And I'm going to throw the links actually right now in the chat. So give me a second, guys, because whoops. Let's do the Sunday service first. Hopefully this works, guys. And then you can hit the notification, guys. That actually helps the algorithm. So hit the notification button on that one. There's the Sunday service for tomorrow. That will take you right to the stream already queued up. Just, hasn't started yet, but you can hit the notification button. You can still make a like and a comment too on it already. I mean, that's one of the advantages, right? We'll get a better start. And here's the morning show, guys. So, yeah. So check them out. All right, there's the channel news, guys. I think it's kind of exciting. I'm really excited to have some fresh content and doing more live stuff, connecting more with all of you guys out there, gals out there. So tune in, support it all, and come and visit and check it out. So we're going to do next. I'm so ready to light the fire, but what I'll do is I'll get ready for that while we do the Bruno update. So we're going to do an update on some stuff we did this week, a reliquary, a new kind of worked with a new kind of reliquary, and also at the end, I just wanted to give a spoiler, but at the end, the moon video, that's the moon rising over Bruno's grave, and that happened, I don't know, early in the week. But there was a couple of new moons that went down in the morning, in the morning time over his grave, and they set over it, and it was very beautiful. And then there'll be, for those who are new, we'll have also a little collage, very short collage of Bruno pictures, so you can get an idea. You can really see his personality in pretty much every photo he ever took, but in these, I hope, as well. And then I'll come back and we'll probably at that point light the fire. So stick around, because that's the best part. That's the one chance where you get to see the Dharma Bum potentially blow himself up, right? I mean, right? We use accelerant up here. My sister likes to call it liquid kindling. So last week I almost burned the whole place down. So, you never know what's going to happen here. It's a great stream, right? I mean, where else are you going to get a live campfire on the mountainside? I'm literally in the middle of the Trinity Alps, guys. There's no cell bars up here, no nothing. This is coming to you via satellite. God bless Elon Musk and Starlink, man. They raised my rate, guys, this month. That's why you got to give donations, man, because the links are all in the description of this video. Help us out, because they're going to raise my Starlink significantly this next month. So I got that email literally just before showtime. I'm like, wonderful, more bills to pay. But we love you all, and so enjoy this update, and I'll see you on the back side of it. Greetings to my Sangha, my family, my friends, my viewers. We are here, it's nighttime, obviously, here at the Dharma Wheel Hermitage. It is just before 1 a.m. on Tuesday, exactly 2 weeks after our dear Bruno Mark passed from this world. And in the Vajrayana prayers and rites after death, it's 49 days. And then every 7 days, you do something special for special prayers to emphasize sort of in 1 week cycles. So this is the second week, and so what we're actually out here at the very moment of his death, because the weather's really nice and we can do that. So we're going to do something special for Bruno right at the exact 2 week moment. We did something last week as well, and at the 2 week moment. And what we're going to do this evening, or this morning, actually, is we're going to create another reliquary. In this case, we're going to use this cute little guy right here. And these are crystalline, clear, acrylic reliquaries. It opens up, it unscrews, the top does. You'll see me when I start making it. It cracks in half and unscrews. And it's crystal clear acrylic. It's a wonderful little item. And we're going to make a total of 3 of them eventually, but tonight we're going to make the one for the Hermitage. And this is going to become part of this shrine kit. This is actually our portable shrine kit. We're going to have a permanent shrine when we set up the prayer hall here at the Hermitage with permanent items, nice big permanent items. But this is our little portable shrine kit that we've been carrying for years now. It all comes out of that pack right there. And so this item that we keep for ourselves will be for this shrine kit, the portable shrine kit. And then, as I said, we'll make 2 more, one for each member of my family later on. And then after I'm done making it, I'm going to meditate with it a little bit here. We're here under Bruno's tree still. That's where the shrine is still set up from when we dedicated Bruno's tree. So I will meditate briefly with the relic under his tree. And that will be our celebration of Bruno's life and our prayers for his passing at the 2 week mark after his passing. So I'm going to work as I did before. I'm going to set up the sacred space. We're going to fire up the incense, say some prayers, and then I'm going to work in silence and prayer, mindful of the deceased. So I'll tell you what you're going to see me do now ahead of time, and it's going to be pretty simple. These reliquaries are really basic construction wise, and we're just simply going to add first some ashes from Bruno, his relics, and then some bone fragments, some bone relics, and I'm gonna pick out some of those and put them in there as well, and then we'll be done. Alrighty. I still have viewers. Amazing. Say hello in the chat, everybody. The show gets more casual from here on out. We have to do our content at the top of the show. We did all the things. Here's little Zavy. He's here to say good. Hi. Start the fire. Papa, it's cold. Oh, it's so cold. I know. I'm going to start it right now. Guys, don't tune out. It's the best part of the show. This is the only part of the show where I might actually like blow myself up, or set my house on fire, or set my dogs on fire. Anything can happen. You really should stick around. Hit the like and subscribe. It's about to become... We usually wait until like closer to sunset, but I'm freezing. And this actually puts off some heat. Let's just hope for the best, okay guys? Hope for the best. Wow, that's pretty windy. Really? Nothing dangerous about this. It's all good. I heard that in the Vinaya for monks, because I want to become a monk, I heard that you're not supposed to light campfire. You're not supposed to light fires if you're a monk. Well, I think I know why now. It's going to be okay, guys. I might have to go in the tent to light this on fire. I don't know how I'm going to do it. Faith. I think it's going to work. And this week we won't set ourselves on fire, I think. The wind's blowing the other way. Last week it was blowing right towards me, right when I lit it. It just started. You can see last week where I literally almost set myself on fire. Now that's putting off warmth already. That's great. I feel better already, guys. Zavy, look, we have fire. He's out here. You just can't see him. He's just off camera. My boys love fire days. Bruno used to love this. In fact, I said that during his funeral. He would have loved it. All day long we collected sticks to burn, to cremate him. He would have loved that, because the two things he loved, two of the two things that he loved most in life, he loved a lot of things, but was sticks and bonfires. You can go back in previous episodes of this show and see him running around, laying next to me, laying next to the fire. Big old mountain mastiff, but he was a big, goofy, 150-pound mountain mastiff. you saw it in the videos anyway. So there you go, guys. Fireside chat with the Dharma Bum. A little bit windy, but it's still pretty green up here. It's not really like, technically it's fire season, but it's not actually like a big danger at this moment. It's a pretty good fire ring too, and I pretty much know what I'm doing. I kind of make fun of myself, but I probably won't ever explode during a fire lighting. We'll see though. It's going to be a long summer. A lot of episodes. This show airs for the new people. Thank you for tuning in and subscribing. The show airs every week on Saturday evening at 6 p.m. Starts at 6 p.m. Pacific time. We're in the Trinity Alps of Northern California. Up in the mountains. About 4,800 feet altitude. And completely off grid. This show comes to you via Starlink, which just got more expensive this week, guys, so support the show. Give a donation. The links are all in the description of this video if you like this kind of content. So this evening, I don't know, I was just gonna, if nobody's got something to talk about in the chat, well maybe I'll catch up. If Vikram is still here, I don't know, kept my 19-year-old dog's relics yet. The Hermitage is, well, Vajrayana Buddhist for now. I haven't actually picked a specific school of Vajrayana to affiliate with at the moment. So sort of generic. I tried to define Vajrayana earlier. Oh, you're still here. Cool, great. Do I offer personalized teaching? I don't know, dude. I don't know. Not at the moment. And I think that if somebody came here, I'd have to, right? I mean, it's like the old Zen hermits, right? Where, you know, they never left the Hermitage, and if you really, really wanted to see them, you had to go up to the Hermitage. I mean, I suppose if you could find your way here, I might have to consider it, right, at some point. But I really didn't even want to do the whole online teaching thing. I did want to do a service, though. And I really wanted that to be a part of the service. So it was kind of forced on me by the kind of content I want to present from up here and the kind of sort of religious things that I want to do while up here as well. So I don't know, it just kind of, and then all roads kind of led to one, and then I've got, like I said, I've got a handful of people who have sort of saying they would like to hear that. So, but it's going to be really simple teachings at first, although I don't know, as the summer goes on, I might get more elaborate. I might get into, I really want to, you know, right now I'm going to bear down on the Tibetan Book of the Dead, but then that opens the gateway this summer to talking about lucid dreaming. Because lucid dreaming is a tantra practice that's closely connected with the practices out of the Tibetan Book of the Dead. So I might, and that I could see that as being interesting and possibly, you know, maybe uplifting at least for people to learn about. But I'm fairly familiar with the practice. I've been practicing lucid dreaming now for decades, and it's a powerful practice, and it's again the oh, see, now that wind is turning. Oh my goodness, I just got to blast the smoke. Don't do this to me again this week. I got to put some wood on it, guys. Getting pretty good at these campfires, guys. Where else on YouTube you're going to find a campfire on the side of a mountain? I mean, who else is doing this kind of content? Seriously. Really? I should have 1,000 viewers, right? Go figure. What to say? I'm not finding my way, unfortunately. I'm in New Delhi, sir. Oh, well, you're so close to Dharamsala then. I'm not finding my way, though. I don't get that part. Oh, you're not finding your way to the Hermitage anytime soon. I get that. Well, we'll talk about it. Just keep coming back to the channel. I mean, I'm open-minded to most anything, but I'm also intimidated by the responsibility, and I also don't have a great deal of belief. And I guess I'll just tell you this up front. I don't really. I believe that certain Vajrayana traditions should not be transplanted to the West. And I'll tell you that one of them, I believe, there's a couple of them that come to mind. The Tukul system, I think, is just not going to work here in the States. You know, you're not going to be able to show up. It's not going to be like Little Buddha movie, where you're just going to be able to show up at some middle-class people's house and say, hey, your kid is our Lama and we're taking him. That's not going to work in real life. They're going to call the police, right? I mean, that's, you know, that's not going to be transplantable. And then also the guru system. I think that guru worship is very dangerous here in the West. And I think it's led to a lot of problems already. We can see the Shambhala movement in New York as one of the obvious examples of how that the guru worshipping and the whole guru system really, I think, is unnecessary. I mean, it's one thing to worship a guy like Garshan Rinpoche, who's so obviously enlightened that it's beyond question, right? But that's such a rare thing. I mean, that's what makes him so rare, right? I mean, and most people would guru worship him from afar anyway. They wouldn't be like at his feet. But I think the whole especially the online guru thing, I think is very dangerous. I don't see that ever working out really well, to be honest with you. And so teaching has to be, a thing that's considered apart from that. That has to be defined because it's Vajrayana Buddhism, right? So the teacher is commonly the guru, right? I mean, it leads to that, right? That's one of the steps in it, and I don't want it to be. You know what I mean? I don't want that role. I do not ever want to be an online guru. I will run. I will go find a real, actual cave to live in with my dogs and disappear forever, rather than allow something like that to happen to me. So, I mean, the whole teaching thing, I just want to take it with baby steps. And I want to teach really just super orthodox Buddhism. I don't want to get into any New Age crap, any kind of crystals, or, I just want to stick with what I can read in a book, study, and then pass along to somebody else. And I have a minister's license. Technically I'm a reverend, and that's mostly so I can act as a chaplain in situations where I might be needed. And I have a clergy badge. In other words, that I can pull out. Really, that's kind of the only reason I did it. Well, Dharma friend is the Theravada way. That's actually almost the literal translation for it, and it's teacher with a small t. It's pretty much any person, and I completely 100% agree with that relationship. I think it should start there. I have a lot of people already that I would consider, who would probably consider me their Dharma friend, teacher with a small t, family included maybe, friends and stuff. But then when you add the capital T, which is what I'm going to do tomorrow morning, guys, I'm going to teach online. It'll be brief, at about 15 minutes, and I already kind of gave a spoiler. It's going to be on the Tibetan Book of the Dead. I'm going to do a reading from it, and then I'm going to talk about it. And tonight was kind of my warm-up. That's why. So a lot of it, you guys who tuned into the stream every Saturday, you probably will get a warm-up of what I'm going to talk about on Sunday, every Sunday, right? Because I would probably use this show beforehand to sort of like try out my ideas and everything. But well, we're going to do more. We've got 2 more reliquaries to go. We have the one for the main prayer hall, which is gorgeous. It arrived today. I have to find a way to go down and get it, but it's in the locker right now, and it's crystal glass and copper. It's really beautiful. It's a stupa as well. They're all stupas, and that will be for the main prayer hall. And then we have a really gorgeous one coming in hopefully for the last week of his rites. But in either way, it's coming, and it's going to be a more of a Tibetan style reliquary. It's about maybe this tall, and it will be all like gold colored and with little jewels all over it and everything. And that will go inside of his stupa. We're building a stupa on top of his grave. And when we do the stupa, there'll be a chamber inside, a stainless steel chamber. And we'll put a time capsule with a lot of cool stuff, and then put his reliquary, the big one, the big sort of elaborate Tibetan one. And then we'll seal the stupa up. And we'll do the tree. We're going to do a stupa tree, and we're going to put all the sticks that he likes so much. I've got collected up. His little personal sticks that he liked to have, his little collection, and we're going to put that in the tree of the stupa, and then when we seal that up. And that's up in Terrace Grove, up top, guys. For those unfamiliar, Terrace Grove is a grove of trees up at the top of the property, and it's gorgeous. We're going to put a green Tara statue there, by the by, as soon as we can manage it. All things are donations, guys, right? So give, right? And then that will be all for the dog. Not only in life, we'll actually have dog beds up there. And we're going to get cheeky with it. We're going to put a little sign up for the guests, the Hermitage guests that come here. We're going to put a little sign up that says, just remember that this place is for green Tara and the doggies, and you're a guest, right? So in other words, you can't just shoo a dog off a meditation platform and you just got to work with it. You got to deal with it, because that's, yeah. And so there's going to be a place for them in life, Towers Grove. I mean, beautiful grove of trees, right? And dog beds and dog toys and stuff. But then it's also going to be where we're going to build the dog stupas, because Bruno, Bruno was unfortunately the first of my family up here to go, and that was very unexpected, being the absolute youngest of the four of us, right? But we're always going to be 4 minus 1. We're not 3 again, and I've got 2 more babies at least, and that's that's assuming I don't rescue anymore, and my sister knows me best probably in that. That's going to be a really hard task. When I find them, when they come across my path, and I know they need rescuing, and that was the case with Bruno. He crossed my path, and I just, I don't know, there'll be more, I think, even than that. So we're going to build their graves and their stupas up there, sort of around Towers Grove. Not right in the grove itself, but like in between the trees of the grove. So there'll be these little stupas with our babies inside of them. They'll be there. Each one will have a reliquary like Bruno's, and then each one will be buried with a time capsule that at the very least will contain every speck of media. And we're a media heavy family. It's not just my content creation, like, sort of instincts, but we take media of everything, thankfully, right? We only had Bruno for 4 months, and we got, I don't know, like a terabit of pictures and videos of him. I don't know, a lot of them, right? A lot of videos and stuff. Well, ghost work is good stuff. Working with the death in general is good stuff. And this has been a real chance for me to actually practice that, to put those words into practice. It's one thing to say, yeah, I would bathe my mom if she died or whatever. It's another thing to actually have to do all that crap, guys, because I had to bathe him. He was my baby, and he was very sick, and he was very messed up at the end. And it took hours. He weighed 150 pounds, but I bathed him like he was what he was. He was my baby, right? So I bathed him, and I dried him, and I brushed him, and for the boys too. The boys got a very visceral window into this. They grew. Dogs. They say that dogs cannot understand death. They cannot understand. There's this finality thing, this thing called death, but that's just not true. The boys were there when he died. They were literally awake looking at him when he passed, and then we prayed all night because it was freezing cold, so we couldn't even get out of the house, and we just sat in the house. We put the little altar up, and we prayed literally all night over him, and then they watched me bathe him the next day, and then they watched me incinerate their brother. Right? I mean, and they were there the whole time throughout it all. And Xavier comes up every morning and sits there. And he, I think more than anybody, it's visceral for him. He knows. And his grief is strong. But this is a huge thing for a creature, a sentient creature that has less sentience than us. So they're already impeded from understanding the concept of death. I get that. I get that they're not going to have a perfect understanding of it. But as creatures go, I think they now have a much more expanded understanding of it. You know what I mean? And also they've gotten to see their papa handling this religious part of it, this idea where I actually walk around still talking to Bruno. When we go up to the grave, I just talk to him like he's there. And some mornings when that moon was over there, that's why I showed the moon video, I swear the grave opened up a portal, and he was there. He was there that morning. That's why I took that video at the end of the update, because we felt him there, and it was palpable. It was, this has been an incredible experience, guys. And I promise you, one of the reasons I've tried to share it is just to promise you that if you ever have to find yourself in this situation, and this is about as gritty as it gets, we had to do our own cremation right here on the property of a creature that is as large as a human. He weighed 150 pounds when he passed, right? So, and I guess I shared the whole thing on YouTube for my people and for my Sangha, just to, again, to try to teach. In a way, this whole process has been my teaching. And like I reported last week, and this is what I wanted to talk about this week, my little topic, is my faith held. You know, I've had this Vajrayana faith for 17 years, but it's never really been put to the test. In fact, even when I was Catholic, I never had a test like this in my life. This is the greatest tragedy of my life, hands down. I lost my mom. It's second only to my mom. But I lost her when I was 6, so it's a long time ago. It's old news, right? I mean, not to put it like that, but it's old, right? It's an old wound, right? And so, and this was directly connected because I had a strong belief that Bruno was sent by my mom. So the whole thing was tied together, and the grief was shattering. It was more shattering than anything I've ever encountered in my life. If you would have told me, you know, before I became a Buddhist, that I would survive something like this, I would say, no, that's not me. I don't have that. I don't have that hero in me. But somehow I have, and I have to say it's 110% because of my faith. So if you are a Vajrayana Buddhist and you're out there watching this either live or on the replay, you know, keep the faith, because this stuff works, and it works when it's needed. This is what I love about Buddhism. They literally have a book just for this problem, right? It's called the Tibetan Book of the Dead. And when I went online, you know, I just downloaded the 49 days of prayers and rites, and boom, I had a scaffold on which to hang my shattered soul while because I had a lot I had to physically deal with. It's just now kind of slowing down a little bit, but it's been a really busy 3 weeks as well. You know, first dealing with the illness and then dealing with, you know, with his passing. So, and what I wanted to talk about today is specifically the role that prayer and meditation plays in coping with something that earth-shatteringly devastating that this has been for me. And I just can't emphasize it enough. I have been in constant prayer since the moment Bruno passed. At 1:08, two Tuesdays back, I have been in, literally from the moment he passed, in constant prayer. I think I wake up in the morning praying, and I go to sleep praying. I mean, I do other stuff during the day, but I mean, it's nonstop. And I've never prayed that much. I pray a lot. I'm a pretty prayerful man, but I mean, to the extent of this. And of course, my practice, I immediately started meditating just out of a sense of caution, because I was so exhausted and my brain was so fried that I became fearful for my mental health. So I immediately started meditating much more than my normal daily practice. And I have to just tell you guys that the combination of the two, and it takes courage, I get that, because you just want to say, look, I'm dealing with all this other stuff. I got a funeral to plan. I got online memorial service. Oh my goodness, I got hours of video to edit. Oh my goodness, I don't got time for that. I just, I want to throw myself into the work, and that might help a little bit, right? It might help a little bit, but it would not have got me through this. I'd be hanging from a tree now if I was just going to rely on the work itself. But it was by gritting my teeth and doing it, even though a lot of time, I really didn't feel like doing it. But the constant prayer and really doing as much sitting as I could during the period of time that we've been grieving up here. I guess I just wanted to talk about that and say that, that's the route to go, guys. If you're a Buddhist, man, your faith will help you in this moment. And especially if you're a Vajrayana Buddhist and you got the wonderful Tibetan Book of the Dead, you literally got a handbook for this moment. I got to throw some wood on the fire real quick. So that's the end of my rant. If anybody's got any questions or anything, discussion topic being prayer and meditation in times of crisis, But you know, I deal with a lot of different mental health issues, like a lot of people my age. I've been you know, sort of battered in the head psychologically, you know, my life. I'm 61 years old, for those who are curious, and so yeah, I mean, really in this particular instance where I was really pushed to the absolute limits of what I thought was both physically, psychologically, and spiritually possible during this whole tragedy. I don't have a view. I'm not even completely sure what bipolar is. I'm fairly certain it's not what I've got. Mine's more on the PTSD kind of scale or range, you know. But I don't know a lot about it. To be honest with you, I don't have a view on it. I mean, I think the view I do have is, in some circles, unorthodox. But it's a view I've heard a lot of people share that are pretty wise too, teachers and stuff. But first of all, go to a doctor. I mean, if you're sick, you go see professional medical help. Never ever put religion or anything spiritual first before that. I don't believe in that. Go see a doctor and do whatever they say to do, if it sounds reasonable. You know what I mean? But that being said, meditate, man. Sit. Because really, one of the easiest ways to, at least you'll gain an understanding of what's wrong with you from meditation. Because meditation's all about pushing yourself back from the table and taking a good long hard look at your mind as a separate thing from you. Because your mind is, your thoughts are not you. Right? That's the idea of meditation, is to push yourself back from the table and see your thoughts for what they are. Let them come, let them go like clouds in the sky, and just realize that for a moment that you think all day long, and you think that you are what those thoughts are, but that's not what you are. There's a deeper level, almost immediately available, because there's just basic awareness. And that's not even hard. That's not even like the deeper sort of tantric practices of going into all kinds of different levels of consciousness. Just the basic idea that naked awareness itself, which is pretty accessible if you just sit still and focus on your breath, and just, like I said, just watch your thoughts come and go. Don't ride them like a cowboy. Don't jump on. And when you catch yourself jumping on, go back to your breath. It's really it sounds really simple. Meditation, when you explain it to people, that's why, like, I'm taking a class now on how to be a meditation teacher. And I am learning some things about this, because I always had big questions, because it actually seems so simple to me. I mean, I come to meditation, I guess, pretty easy, but I've been doing it a really long time. And I've done it under super stressful conditions. Like, not conditions like going in a forest, like this place right here. Okay, this is, literally, I'm designing it to be super peaceful, right, guys? I mean, we've got views, guys. We got vista views of mountains, everything right here in the Hermitage, right? And we're going to put meditation platforms there and everything. But that's, you know, that's great. That's a great way to learn how to meditate, because at least you have the advantage, right? But the thing that you need to understand is you need to be able to meditate in places like, okay, so I spent a year over some civil disobedience stuff, just so you know ahead of time. It was protesting and whatnot. It was not real crime, but I spent a year in prison for that. For messing with that kind of court case, right? And I was locked in a cage with 40 other men on bunks, and it was a very small cage, and it was very loud, like almost 24/7, right? And I got more meditation time in, guys, way more than I've ever gotten in my life. I'd never practiced anywhere as hard as I practiced there. I mean, I was getting in 1, sometimes 2 hours a day, every day, and good meditation. The whole thing became a giant white noise. It was wild, right? I just learned how to turn it all into white noise. And so some of the best work I've ever done on my, you know, when you've got to be able to meditate anywhere. You've got to be able to meditate in crisis. You've got to be able to meditate on the side of a busy street. And you don't have to sit and close your eyes or do anything. After a while, you learn to be able to do it. You can do it hanging on a strap in the subway train, you know what I mean, hanging from a strap and on your way to work, and you can meditate eventually when you get, and they call it practice for a reason. You practice, right? You just keep practicing. I think all mental illness, bipolar, which I admit I just don't know a lot about. I think it all benefits from first seeing a good medical person or counselor or whatever needs to be done in that department. Do what needs to be done, but then also, get on that damn cushion. Seriously, get on that cushion and stay on that cushion, and you will feel better in days, right away. It doesn't take a long time. And if you read my book, I have a book out, Vikram. I don't know if you know, but I don't know. Maybe my sis will be nice and shoot a link to it. I don't actually carry a link around to it. But if you want to read my book, I have a whole chapter on meditation, and it gets deep into all the scientific studies that have been done on the different improvements that it makes to brain health, and it's remarkable. It's the only thing that's known to grow density of brain matter is prolonged meditation. I don't know if I carry a link in my link list here. Hold on, let me check. I don't carry a link to it. I don't know, maybe my sis will do it for us. I think she's listening still. And we lost the website this week, guys, because we can't pay the bills. Nobody's donating, and I'm selling 0 books, and things have been rough. So, hey Zen, can you shoot the link to the book anywhere? Do you want ebook, Vikram, or do you want paperback? The Amazon's only the paperback one, Amy Beth. So, I mean Zen. Vikram, if let us know which one you want, paperback or ebook. The ebook's only at $3. Paperback's not expensive either. I don't know what it's up to now. I think that with inflation now, it's up to like $10 or $11. Ebook, please. All right. You know what? I'll get that link for you. Hold on. Hold on, Vikram. Let's try this. I'm gonna get it for you. Give me a second, my man. See what that does for you. Try that, Vikram. I'm not familiar with India, but it's the absolute best place to get it here in Europe, Canada, and America. It should work there. Give it a try, and if not, we'll find another alternative, because it's available on Barnes & Noble in ebook as well. But we got all night, so just don't even worry about it. Keep trying to do it. We're not stressed for time. We got plenty of fuel for the fire. I'm much warmer now, guys. Let's do a break song, guys. I'm going to stretch a little bit, check on the dogs. Well, great. That's Smashwords, by the way. Smashwords for all the other people watching who want a copy of the ebook. Again, it's only $3, I think, over there. You can grab one there. A copy of Vajra Cave, my daily practice for Buddhists, and Smashwords is the #1 seller of independent ebooks in the world. So they're a great seller. It's worth signing up for the account, though. You could be able to keep all your purchases in their library. They have a lot of sales. All my ebooks will be released at least on there. In this case, right now it's in Smashwords and Amazon and a bunch of other places. I guess Apple as well. But I prefer Smashwords. It really caters to the independent authors. So you'll find pretty much the whole catalog is all independent publishers and authors. So there's one ebook purveyor in that genre, if you will. So check it out. Thank you for asking questions about my book. We're gonna do I think, a quick break song. In the meantime, I'm going to drop something that I drop every week, and nobody's ever done this. And I'd like to know why. I'd like somebody to try it and just tell me why you didn't want to do it. But this is my way of working around the fact that I'm not monetized by YouTube, so I can't do the little super chat and the tips thing and everything. But now I know it's going to work. This is a workaround through Streamlabs that allows me to get stream tips. And supposedly, and I think it will work, your name will come up on the screen, like the way that Vekram's name came up when he followed. That's actually supposed to happen. I don't know if it will happen, but nobody's ever done it. Nobody has ever given me a stream tip. So if anybody's watching and you want to give a stream tip, meanwhile, we're going to do a break song. I can't even remember what I queued up for the break song, so I'm going to be actually as surprised as you are, guys. And then I'll stretch, go out, guys. We stay at least until dark. So, and it's I'd say, I don't know, 20 minutes or 30 minutes till sunset. So we'll be going quite a while. So hang out, have good conversation, good friends, jump in the chat, and then I'll see you at the end of this little song here. So yeah, thanks for being here, everybody. Love you so much. Like and subscribe.
On a dusty street in Kolkata, a spotty dog with no home, no family, no promise of shelter, yet drawn to the saffron robes, to the calm steps of monks, walking the ancient path of the Buddha. He paused, head tilted, eyes shining, as though he heard the call of something greater. And so he walked, feet rough, heart soft, Aloka, name for light, chose to follow. Across rivers and forests, through sacred sites and ancient stones, Bun Gaya Deer Park, the cave of the first council, Aloka walked. Winter frost biting his fur, summer heat scorching his paws, wild dogs snarled. Lonely nights dragged on, yet Aloka stayed. 4 small bare feet, one purpose, to walk the Sangha's path. One fog-laden morning, on a road cloaked in mist, a car veered. A crash, Aloka's body tumbled, his breath shallow, his eyes pleading, legs battered. The world blurred, but even as shadows closed in, his spirit flickered, and monks lifted him. They carried him. They did not abandon him. Hospital lights humming, needles piercing, cold floors and warm hands, pain and fear interwoven. Yet Aloka rose day by day, inch by inch, he walked again. Though weak, though scarred, his heart still thumped with the rhythm of the walk. He shook off the fog of despair, and in his eyes, the light returned. Now Aloka walks again, along highways and fields among monks and pilgrims, children reaching out to pat his fur. Smiles blooming like lotus flowers, he is a symbol of survival, of loyalty, of quiet strength. He is the gentle paw print beside the monk's Tutanga sandals. And with each step he takes, he walks not just for himself, but for all beings, for the light, the wisdom, the liberation. Aloka means light, and in his journey, from stray to companion, from broken to whole, from silent to stride, he becomes that light. He walks on, He does not forget. He does not yield. And in his quiet, steady presence, the walk for peace becomes richer, brighter, more human.
First of all, I'm Venerable Panyakara, and this is our first walk in America.
Oh, okay.
But some of us have already walked many years in India and Thailand and all the countries as well.
Okay.
Yes, and we are here. We have Lao Sangha. Sangha means all the monks, the community monks, the Thai, the Vietnamese, and also there will be others to join as well. And this group we started from the beginning, 16 days ago. This is the 16 days. We still have over 100 days left to go. And our dog, he's been sleeping the whole time over there.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah, he's over there. So we found him in India when we walked 112 days in India. We found him and he followed us the whole time. He's a hero, true hero in India. And even though he fall sick, and he got hit by a car, almost died, but he still stand up and walk. Even though he very ill, very sick, and I put him in the car and let him go by with the truck.
Yeah.
He refused to. He jump off and then walk.
He wants to be with you.
He
guys.
wants to walk. He don't want to go with the car. So that inspires a lot.
Yeah.
And at the end of the journey, I don't want him to go back to his lifestyle, which is a stray dog.
Yeah.
So I brought him here, and now he's U.S. citizen.
Now he's yours forever. He's stuck with you guys.
Yeah,
That's so great.
he's very friendly and very nice dog. And every monk, every one of us love him so much because he inspires us a lot.
On a Kolkata morning, in the dust and heat, a small spotted shadow wandered lonely in the street. No roof above him, no hand to hold, just a heartbeat searching for a place to call home. Then he saw the monks walk gently, robes like flowing gold. He followed soft footsteps down the ancient road. A local walks with me through the mountains and the rain. Little heart of courage, little lamp against the pain. Every mile a teaching, every breath a silent plea. A local walks with me. A local walks with me. Oh, the gayest starlight shining on his tired paws. Sarnath, the wind around him, whispering the Buddha's laws. Through the winter frostbite, through the summer's burning air, he never turned back. Love had taken him there. He walked like a pilgrim with a tale that never lied. A small four-legged monk by his teacher's side. A local walks with me through the mountains and the rain. Little heart of courage, little lamp against the pain. Every mile a teaching, every breath a silent plea. A local walks with me. A local walks with me. Then one foggy morning, wheels came screaming down the road. A cry broke the silence and the world felt cold. Broken bones trembling, breath fading thin. But love lifted him up, refused to give in. And slowly, slowly he rose to his feet. A miracle wrapped in fur, returning to the beat. A local walks with me through the mountains and the rain. Little heart of courage, little lamp against the pain. In his eyes the sunrise, in his steps a sacred key. A local walks with me, a local walks with me. From stray dog to brother, from darkness into light, he carries a simple truth through every day and night. That kindness is a refuge and love can set you free. So a local walks with me. 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 A local walks with me.
All right, thank you guys so much. We've had some viewers all night long. That's wonderful. Make sure to pipe up in the chat, say hi, so we can give you a nice warm Dharma Wheel Hermitage hug. The boys are here, but they're getting kind of lazy now. They're settling down. Zan's behind me in the dog bed. Actually, I can see him over my this shoulder. He's back there. You can see a little black thing in a white bed. That's him. And then Xavier's in the house, which is where he usually is. He goes in the sleeping bag. He's a Chihuahua. He's a burrower, and always cold. Always cold. My Xavier is. And that's my boys. So I don't know. While we got some viewers, let's give one more plug for the shows, guys. If you scroll up in the chat, you'll be able to see the links to these, but you can also go to my channel and check them out. They're under the podcasts. It's brand new content. The very first episodes are rolling out starting tomorrow, guys, with this. We're going to do this every Sunday, Buddhist Sunday service here at the Dharma Wheel Hermitage. It's going to be a pretty standard sort of thing. In a sense, we're not going to, I'm going to leave the chat open just because I don't like the idea of closing the chat off. Like a lot of services that I go to myself online on Sunday, there's no chat at all, right? Which makes sense to a certain extent, but I'm going to see if I can not be that unfriendly at first and just see if we can just leave it to, some light greetings of each other and, some prayer emojis and stuff like that, obviously unless invited, don't ask any questions or anything like that. It's just a service. It's there for you to, now you will be able to partake in it. There'll be a prayer book that everybody can download, and we'll say pretty much the same prayers every week, but it will change up. Like in a few weeks, we're going to do one for world peace, and we're going to do that up at the prayer flag tree. We'll have the portable shrine out, and we'll go up at the prayer flag tree, and we're going to hang a prayer flag for world peace, and we're going to pray over it together. So that's the idea. Sundays, 10 a.m. Pacific time. That's 10 a.m. Pacific time. You can smash that notification button right now, though, if you scroll up in the chat to get the link, or go to the channel page and look at the podcast. The first episode's already up, so you can smash that notification button, which you'll not only get a nice notification from YouTube and not miss a minute, but it will help the algorithm if you do that. So hopefully we'll get lots of people to come be with me, and hopefully my friends will tune in, and my fam and my Sangha, because this is going to be my first ever teaching, guys, ever in my life. Public teaching. So wish me luck. Hopefully I can elucidate at least one small point and make everybody a little brighter for their Sunday. But we're going to also pray together and meditate together. That's all part of the service. So it'll be a good thing, I think. I hope everybody likes it. And the first one will kind of be a skeleton that I'm kind of building the whole thing on. It'll probably start at around 30 minutes the first few times, and then it'll at the most maybe grow to 45 minutes at the most, by as I get used to it and I start adding some more filler, so to speak. But the first one will be just try to be really simple and basic. And obviously, we've already talked about what the theme is going to be tonight. It's kind of the theme of the Hermitage right now, which is the ongoing 49 days of prayer and ritual for our baby Bruno. So yeah, and then starting right after that, Monday, starting this coming Monday, I'm going to do a morning talk show, guys. Yeah, come on, you know you're curious. Even if you know me, you're curious what I'm going to talk about in the morning. Kind of unfettered, you know what I mean? And kind of like, but anyway, so brew it strong, and have a big, have a good bunch of it ready, and sit down with me, and we'll talk about everything from current events in Buddhism to what kind of coffee we're all drinking. And I'm sure it's going to be a lot of fun. I love morning talk. I've done radio for a lot of years, going back decades, and so I think I can make it fun and enjoyable. But in any case, like I said, and you can tune us in no matter what. You can tune in on your phone. You can put your phone. You do your morning commute, because it will be like real talk radio. And we'll probably have guests and stuff. I want to actually try to get Dr. Rob to call me like the first one that we do, like on Monday, and see if Dr. Rob will call into the show. I can take sort of just voice call-ins right now. I can't really do video call-ins, but I can do voice ones. So maybe we can get Dr. Rob on the audio and say a few words of wisdom to the audience. But anyway, tune in Monday morning. It's Monday through Thursday, and that will start at 8 a.m. Pacific time. And again, if you go over to the podcast section of my channel page, you can see all these podcasts, and the episodes are usually up ahead of time. Like the next episode is already there, so you can hit that one and mash that notification button, and you won't miss a second. So wish me luck on that one too, guys. My first morning show. I'm going to take it on like a morning host, right? So we'll see how that goes, right? I know I'm probably opening the floodgate to trolls, but we'll see how it goes, man. It would be fun anyway. It'd be interesting, and I really want to do this content, so I'm very excited about it. So give it a like and subscribe, and you can even leave comments now. I mean, all of that helps the algorithm, even though the show isn't even going to air yet. You can see the countdown timer of when it's going to air. So yeah. How do you like my fire, guys? I'm going to throw a couple more pieces on there, but it's still going. It's going pretty good. It's putting out a lot of warmth now. It's got a really good bed of hot coals there. I wish we could cook something on it. Like something. If you're wondering, guys, out there in YouTube land what I'm burning, it's juniper. There's nothing but juniper up here. It's literally like the foothills of Tibet up here. I have 2 acres. The Hermitage is 2 acres, roughly speaking. And gorgeous, gorgeous junipers all up and down it, as you can see all around me now. And these aren't even the really nice ones. Well, there's one really nice one in the background behind Xander back there. But they're gorgeous, and no trees were harmed in the process of this stream because it's all deadwood. You need to clear it. It's very important to clear it for different reasons. I've actually did a whole episode on why it's important to keep it and how to husband these trees, these junipers. But they produce a lot of deadwood just on a regular basis, and so it's real easy. We got plenty up here. Even though we burned a ton of it during Bruno's funeral, we still have plenty. And it smells really, really good. You know, I found out the other day, this is a trip. I hope my sister and Bone are listening. But I found out the other day that Garshan Rinpoche over in Arizona, they have a similar spread, a retreat center, and it's pretty much universally junipers as well. So it's and he's from Tibet, right? So, I mean, it stands to reason that he'd try to pick a place like this that very much resembles the foothills of Tibet in that sense, that it's all rocky ground and junipers and altitude, right? And anyway, he is selling cans, little tins. They're like a size of maybe an old $20 piece, tins of blessed juniper powder. It's incense. So imagine it's got like a little bit of benzene or something like that thrown in to like make it burn like incense. But it's essentially juniper. It says right on the tin, juniper powder, and it's blessed by Garshan Rinpoche. I looked around and I was like, oh my God, I'm rich. Anybody gonna buy a tin of blessed juniper powder off me if I send it to you in the mail? How much would you pay for that? Tell me how much in the chat. I got junipers everywhere, man. I mean, I got juniper all day long. All day long, right? I mean, my goodness, isn't that something? Selling blessed juniper powder. That never would have dawned on me. I've been trying to think of a craft or something I could do with the property. Like, you know, it's not like Catholics. Like Catholic monasteries and hermits, they can make wine. Now that'd be fun. I wouldn't mind trying to grow some grapes up here and make some wine, but that's not on the table with being a Buddhist hermit, right? So, but ground juniper powder. I just got to find out how to make it. How do you make juniper into powder? That's the thing. I mean, I guess there's a bunch of different ways, but there must be some sort of way to grind it that's easy. I got to look into that. I got to do some research. Because I got plenty of juniper powder. Well, tell me what you would pay in the chat for a tin of blessed juniper powder with maybe a little bit of extra ingredient to make it work as an incense. I think they use benzene or something like that. There's a powder they put in there to make it incensey, right? So it ignites like incense, it burns like incense. But and then you bless it. I'll bless it. I can bless it. I got that. I can do that. I'm Reverend Chris. I can bless anything, right? Tell me in the chat. Come on, you guys, wake up. Wake up and smell the coffee. Who's coming to my morning show on Monday? You're gonna fill your morning commute with the Dharma Bum? Could be fun. You never know what's gonna happen. You never know what I might do in a show like that, because that's kind of Dharma Bum unleashed. I mean, even in this show, I kind of try to pull my punches and try to act like a gentleman. But early in the morning, I don't know. That's a time when, but that's before my second cup of coffee. Before my second cup of the day, I don't know. I'm raggedy around the edges, to say the least, man. But it's going to be interesting. 8 a.m. Monday through Thursday. Coffee with the Dharma Bum. Alrighty then. Well, we're coming up on the 2-hour mark, but it's not even dark yet, so I'm going to keep streaming, guys. But it's on you guys. Somebody got to say hi or say something in the chat. Come on, man. Show some life, chat. Give a stream tip. You make me think my stream disconnected. I keep checking my thing to make sure I didn't disconnect. Did I put you all to sleep with the topic tonight or what? Come on, one person got to send an emoji or something. Do I got to be like Dr. Rob and cover myself in face paint to get you guys to like come to life? Dr. Rob would love that. I'm not going to do that ever. It's never going to happen. But I know that it would be fun, but it's never going to happen. Face paint is Dr. Rob's department. There's a hug from Sis. What'd you cook? And did it taste good? And are you sending some up tomorrow? Question mark, question mark, question mark. I just finished your spaghetti tonight. I haven't even touched my groceries yet. Guys, I'm going to show off the peanut butter cookies. Hold on. Guys, I got a treasure here, man. See, this is a treasure box. See this? That's a treasure box, guys. All 5 of my viewers, check this out, because you wish you were me right now. These are not just peanut butter cookies, okay? That would be one thing, because peanut butter cookies in and of themselves are always really cool, okay? But these are the best peanut butter cookies in the universe. I mean, you could sell these for like $20 for 6 or something like that, man. And I like to joke because my sister makes these, and she moved out here from New England recently. She's homesteading here in the same area that the Hermitage is. And I like to joke that I moved her out here just to ensure my supply of these, because and I haven't had any in a while, but you know, things have been kind of rough up here, so she felt bad for me and sent a care package. And this box was full, by the way, guys, but unlike my sister, who always says these are not a meal, yes, they're definitely a meal. If you put enough of them on a plate, it's dinner, for real. And so that's what happened to the other half of them that were in this box when I brought it home a day ago. But yeah, dude, guys, I'm gonna have to show you one up close. Hold on, let me find a good one. My sister knows what I'm checking for. All right, put them somewhere where the dogs won't get them. See if I can get it on the camera up close. I don't know, I don't have a viewfinder, so I'm just gonna hold it up to the lens and hope you guys can see it. But I don't know if you can just even imagine how delicious that's gonna taste. But trust me, you wish that you knew my sister, because she would make you these sometimes. I don't know if you saw it or not, but that one's, I'm going to eat that one right there, so it's staying. Yeah, buddy. And I still got a stash. I got enough for breakfast in the morning, right? And maybe even lunch. Because these cookies are 100% a meal. Fish not fishing. Hold on. Alright, I gotta catch up in the chat. Hold on, let me put the cookies away so the dogs don't eat them. There you go. Who else on YouTube's got a campfire on a mountain and peanut butter cookies, man? It's like a cooking show now. Well, hold on, let me catch up. Poor Sanders. Yeah, look at that. You saw it. He's on the camera doing it too. He's circling now like a shark. He got one the other day. Xavier won't eat him. I mean, he really just does not, apparently does not at all like peanut butter. Xander finally scoffed one down and got the idea. And then he wanted more, of course. But for the longest time, they wouldn't even touch peanut butter. I mean, I didn't have to worry about it because they hated peanut butter. And I don't understand that. It's so counterintuitive. All dogs love peanut butter. This was always the rule, right? But I'll give him at least one more. They've already had one because you chastised me before I brought him home. Oh my God. God, that's so good. I'm sorry to eat on stream. But this is like a sacred moment. It's like a sacrament, guys. I'm serious. if there is food in the Pure Land, it's going to taste like this. And I'm serious. Oh, you cooked fish. Oh, wow, that sounds delicious. Cooked on an open fire like that? That sounds delicious. Oh, very cool. I got plenty of food, so I'm not going to try to make you feel guilty. I ate your spaghetti for lunch, the last of it. It was delicious. Thank goodness the only really good home cooking I get is from down in the valley from my sister, from her homestead. We can walk there. Me and the boys can. I pull Xavier in a wagon usually. I can walk there in about an hour. It's a really nice walk though, because it's all dirt tracks through the mountains. We are way off the grid, guys. You cannot even imagine. I mean, we can get to the nearest town. It's only about 5 miles away. But, I mean, they call it a city, but it's really just a town. A little itty-bitty place. Well, I wonder if we lost Vikram. You know what I want to know is, where's Irene? I'm worried about Ms. Irene. Ms. Irene, if you're out there working, man, you gotta say hi. And if you watch this on the replay, you gotta leave a comment, man. We're worried about you. She's watched almost every stream since I started streaming like years ago. Colm will probably tune in the morning shows now. I bet you he's there for the service. I sent it to him in the email, and I bet he shows up for the talk show in the morning too, because that'll finally jive with his time zone, right? Hey, God in the Flash. Hello, and what's the difference between left hand and right hand practice? All right, I'll make an attempt at that, but I don't want it to be like, I don't want anybody to take this as any kind of official, this is the party line for all the Vajrayana Buddhists in the whole world, okay? I'm not done yet, give me a break. I know he's circling me like a shark. I'll give him some. I have to eat slow, I only have 4 teeth. Okay, God in the Flesh asks, what is the difference between the left hand and the right hand practice? Well, for one thing, I think that the right hand practices are the ones that are probably the most accessible, beneficial, and with the least sort of drawbacks for people in general. So, you know, to give an example, like, you know, your left hand, your right hand path would be, you know, stuff like, I'm sorry, your right hand path is what I meant to say about that. But your right hand path would be stuff like meditation, obviously, reading scripture, you know, seeking just for Vajrayana, seeking very simple empowerments. For Zen, really it's all about the sitting, right? Zen's big focus is sitting, so it's a lot of sitting, and you don't even really see the quote unquote sort of left hand path. You don't really see that much, except in Mahayana. You see it a little bit in Mahayana. I think, I don't know, some could argue, I guess, some of the really strict schools of Theravada, but really not so. But in Mahayana is really where you begin to get a hint of it, and then seriously in Vajrayana, and there's a lot of left-handed stuff. And what is left-handed stuff? It's I guess, this is a real rough analogy, but one way to put it is a little bit darker and heavier. stuff. So an example would be, you've got your Zen Buddhism that's very modern, right? Where you go and the teacher's kind of wearing normal clothes, maybe not even robes, and you sit in a nice air-conditioned hall and you do Zen Buddhism, right? There's that kind of Zen Buddhism, and then there's shades of that going down into the traditional, right? You have sort of the traditional Zen settings like monasteries and stuff like that, but it's still really about sitting. The teacher's really nice. Nothing much more of that is asked of you, right? But then also in Zen, you have the schools that are so strict that it's like almost kind of crazy, right? Like where the teacher walks up and down the meditation hall with a stick, and if you flinch, you get a serious whack with the stick. And that exists. That's a thing in a certain schools of like Zen, right? So again, you begin to see this sort of dark practices, these hard practices, these dark practices begin to appear a little bit in Mahayana, but then when you get into Vajrayana, because you're dealing with magic, that's the thing. I keep telling people this, but the primary difference between Mahayana and Vajrayana is the addition of magic. And when you get into magic, naturally you're going to have right and left hand practices, right? So you've got your right hand practices like green Tara empowerments and things like that. Things that are very much filled with positivity and light and are very easy to understand, very accessible, and very uplifting. Very without a lot of effort, right? And then you've got your in Vajrayana, you've got your left-handed practices like the worship of flat-out demons like Mahakala and stuff like that, right? Where I've already heard many anecdotal tales of people messing around with Mahakala as one example, a very wrathful deity, a very wrathful entity, and screwing up and having that come back and bite them. Right, there are anecdotal tales around of that. I just watched, and I'm going to highlight her by the by on one of these shows when we get out of maybe the cycle of mourning for Bruno. This is one of the shows I want to talk about this, and I want to highlight this teacher. But I've been following this young lady who's been teaching lately, and she flat out comes and tells you these are grimoires. I mean, some of the termas, some of the Tibetan really, really secret scrolls and secret teachings and stuff, and they're based on these ancient scriptures called termas, right? And she comes right out and says these are grimoires. They're grimoires of magic. And from I studied religion also from the religious science point of view, from the objective point of view. It's called comparative religion, religions of the world, right? And I studied it from that point of view. And from that point of view, magic is magic. And this is, what we practice in Vajrayana Buddhism is undoubtedly magic. And it was refreshing to see a lady, obviously maybe Tibetan, who was teaching online and actually just saying this flat out, that this is the case. This is what's going on here. And so naturally, like I said, there's a left-hand path. Like I said, I just put out one example, the worship of some very wrathful deities. I mean, there's some that are even banned by His Holiness the Dalai Lama. That he banned them because once they came out of Tibet, they became almost inappropriate, and he just, flat out banned the practices. So you have that again, that left-handed path. Now, so that's the difference, right? And then, but ultimately, it's like crazy wisdom and all of the other sort of accommodations that Tibetan Buddhist philosophy leaves for ideas, really strange ideas like this. It's like that in the sense that it's supposed to ultimately, the goal is supposed to be positive. It's supposed to lead you towards enlightenment. And these things should be tools. So it's my opinion that, yes, the left-hand stuff works. I've done a little bit of it myself when needed. I need protection sometimes from Mahakala. And so I'll brave those chants and those rites to do that. But it should be done sparingly, and it should be done with caution and with the understanding that there's an extra price or an extra caution that's necessary with that kind of practice. Things like, to be honest with you, hallucinogenics would fall into that. A lot of people in modern times, a lot of modern teachers that I know of, lamas and stuff that are teaching online and stuff, try to deny the efficacy of hallucinogens, and also flat out don't even talk about the possibility that was part of Tibetan Buddhism for centuries, and it actually was. There have been books written about this, and you can read them, where various rituals, especially that Padmasambhava was involved in introducing, absolutely, definitely, when they were introduced, involved. They don't anymore. They involve colored water. They're still around, these rituals, but they involve like colored water. But back then, they definitely involved hallucinogens. There's no doubt. And so that would be another classic example of left-handed sort of stuff. Super dangerous, but holding the potential for, super much gain in the path to enlightenment, right? So I hope that answers your question, God in the flesh. That's my best effort anyway. I'm sure there's 100 teachers out there that'll say it to you a different way, though. Anybody else? Theology with the Dharma Bum. I need to flex my muscles for the service tomorrow. Yeah, they disregard a lot. So does Mahayana. Look, there's no denying the differences that exist between these schools. And there's no point in it. And I'm not into syncretism either. I'm not trying to say you can blend them all together, although that's what I do in my basic practice. But that's up to the individual, how much of each you take away. And there's also no doubt that Mahayana Buddhism, from which Vajrayana sprang, ultimately, is based on something very, very different. It's based on the basic Buddhist teachings, and also it was evolved within Buddhist Sangha immediately after his death. But if you ask me, in my reading of a lot of the Mahayana scripture, and I've read a lot of scripture, period, but a lot of Mahayana scripture, if you ask me, some of these scriptures evolved from visions that disciples had sometime after Buddha's death, but not long. We're talking a century, 2 at most. And it's my opinion that some, maybe not all, but some of these visions were induced by hallucinogens. Just read the scripture, and you can tell if you've ever tripped. I mean, I don't know, I've tripped. I've eaten LSD, I've eaten mushrooms. I cop to that, right? And I'm serious. That's the kind of visions you would have. So, and it's absolutely an evolution. It's a change from what the original. It's based upon the foundation of what the Buddha laid down, but it's absolutely an evolution. But first, the question I would ask and challenge any Theravada is to show me where. Okay, like at the end of the Bible, there's a curse. I don't know if most people know this, but the very last words of the Bible are a curse. If anybody changes a single letter or a dot or jittle, it's called in one of the older translations. If anybody changes a dot or jittle from this scripture, let them roast in hell or whatever. That's the general idea. But look it up. It's the last words of the Bible. The Holy Bible, the Christian Bible, right? And so, that's the fundamentalist viewpoint is that, from the Theravadins who practice a fundamentalist viewpoint, because that's the kind of dichotomy there, the universalists versus the fundamentalists. The universalists who say all of these schools have something to teach. It may be a mystery to us how it evolves from Buddha, but it does. It's a faith, right? It's a faith that Mahayana and Vajrayana got it right, even if we can't understand how they got it right? And that's a universalist approach, and that's why Vajrayana, from its very beginning, encouraged people to accept Theravada and Mahayanan teachings and to practices as well, and incorporate them in. Even the Pure Land is incorporated into my prayer book, my Garshan Rinpoche prayer book, right? So, And so there's a universalist approach that says, look, I don't understand how all these puzzle pieces of these schools fit together, but I'm going to accept that each school is for somebody. Each school has a, people. In other words, there's a school that's just right for you out there, everybody out there, and that school, regardless of what it is, if it's an authentic, like original ancient school of Buddhism, will get them where they need and want to go. I don't think that the other schools are risky. No, I believe they're equal. I just don't know exactly how. It's like I said, a lot of it's a mystery to me. It eludes me. But I have faith. I believe in the hologram theory of Buddhism. Buddhism is like a hologram. And you can take any chunk of a hologram and you can recreate the entire hologram from just that piece. You can shatter a hologram, the lens that creates a hologram, on the ground into a million pieces. And the tiniest little chunk, if you shine a laser onto it, will recreate the entire hologram. And I see Buddhism that way. Any piece of the Dharma, legitimate, lineage-backed Dharma, will get a person where they need to go, if that's what it's meant, if that's what suits them, if that's what it takes to open their mind. If it takes getting hit on the back with a stick, to make somebody awaken to enlightenment in some of these, like I described in these Zen monasteries, and so be it. And that will work for them. I have that much faith in Buddhism in general, and I have faith in the three schools. I have faith in universalism, both within Buddhism and within all the religions, because I believe the Catholics have it going on, and they're going to wherever they want to go. I believe all the religions that are of good faith religions, the major world religions, have a practice that will lead people to good places. And that's the role of religion, right? And so from my approach to that and the different schools and the differences between them is not to try to argue it or not to even try to figure it out, but just to accept that I've got my school. I picked my school because I like magic. That's why I picked Vajrayana. But Vajrayana in turn encouraged me to study the Pali Canon, which is the Theravada scripture, which I've read cover to cover. I've read, at least 15 books of, which are 400 or 500 pages long books of the Pali Canon in a really good English translation, and I've read them many times over. And so, and I was encouraged to do that not despite Vajrayana Buddhism, but because of my involvement. And that's ancient. That's an ancient part of Vajrayana Buddhism, is to study what the Theravadins teach. So I think Vajrayana's approach in general is the most universalistic. And of course they acknowledge that they're based on Mahayana. So Vajrayana really does a good job of absorbing all the schools and giving you the best juice of all three schools. But I don't think there's anything risky. Pick the school that's best for you. God in the flesh. You sound like Theravada would be a really good fit for you. Maybe even a Thai forest monk. And that will work for you. But I would still caution you, even when you do that, to heed some of my words in the idea that do not adopt a fundamentalist attitude about that. Do not think for a second that you have some sort of edge on a Tibetan Buddhist monk that you meet simply because you're wearing the yellow robes and he's wearing the red. And that's what I would encourage you to see. And I think that the monks that are the most enlightened that I know in all the schools, and I know a decent amount of monks and lamas, and I think the ones that all different schools, and I think the ones I know that are the most enlightened are the ones who adopt that view. And in the end, it's better for all Buddhists to stand together anyway. And we're the fourth largest religion, and we're surrounded by very violent religions. I mean, Islam being one example, right? And so even though, like, say, the Theravadins in Myanmar are not, like, really, on my mind, still, the things that they do reflect on Buddhism. Well, I would not recommend practicing sex meditation. First of all, that whole tiny bit of what is supposed to be secret Tantra is one tiny little part of Vajrayana. It's the one that gets all the attention, which stands to figure because it's Western society, right? And Western society is fixated on sex. So you got like these 3 little rituals in some obscure text somewhere that talks about sex magic in Tibetan Buddhism, and it's all out of control. Dude, I would never practice that, first of all. I've never read those texts. I know which ones they are, for the sake of knowing it. But, I mean, it's don't let that color your whole picture of Tibetan Buddhism. I'm not trying to get you to join. I really think that Theravada's a better fit for you. I'm just trying to get you to see a more universalistic point of view, because I feel it's the right view, first of all. And second of all, it's the most compassionate view, is to just believe that everybody's, reaching for their own answer. You know what I mean? And again, that even spans beyond Buddhism for me. I think that Christians are trying, and they're going to gain something from their religion if they actually apply it, the way it's supposed to be applied. But that holds for Buddhism as well. If you don't practice, then you're not going to gain anything. You can sit here and argue theological points all day long, but if you're not sitting on the cushion, you don't have a pony in the race, so to speak. That's my best answer, God in the Flesh. I still love you no matter what, and you're always welcome here. Everybody's welcome here. Well, I might have to draw the line at Satanists. I'm not sure I could stand that, but maybe. Maybe if they didn't talk religion in the chat. More wood. Finally getting dark, man. Well, anyway, I appreciate you, God in the flesh, and that's my best answer to your queries. Anybody else want to say hi in chat? Got any deep theological Buddhist questions you want to explore together? My fire is going good now. Oh, this is the only chance you got. But actually, I think the video at the top of the stream really answered that question for me as far as officially. According to Vajrayana Buddhism, actually your last chance is in death. But you only got one chance to prepare for that, and that's now. And that's why practice is so vital. Because if you practice really, really hard, then when you get into the in-between, when you get into the bardo, you can get positive results. So, yeah. But definitely life's the only chance to prepare. Auspiciousness, I think that's the word you're using, auspiciousness. Auspiciousness it's merit-based, actually, the idea. But the idea that if I, let's say that I'm blessing, when I'm blessing the people at the end of the service tomorrow, or usually I do it at the end of the stream, and I say, may everything be auspicious. What I'm doing is I'm transferring my merit. I'm taking my merit, and maybe the prayers I said earlier that day, or whatever the prayers I said during the service, and I'm taking that merit and I'm transferring it to people who I'm blessing to have auspiciousness, and that merit will generate. And I hate to use this word because it's really it's very coarse word compared to the concept I'm trying to grasp at, but good luck. The merit of the blessing will hopefully, the idea is to cause good luck, auspiciousness. But in the context of Vajrayana Buddhism, it's directly connected to blessing and to merit. And so, yeah, it's the idea of, may your day be filled with, beneficial happenings. You know what I mean? Things that are positive, things that leave you better off. You know what I mean? And, but again, in the context that I know that you're asking about it, it's spelled with an A. Close. It's A-U-S-P-I. But you got most of it right, but I think it's A-U at the beginning instead of O. But I know what you meant because I say it all the time. Great audience tonight, guys. Bunch of viewers, new people talking. Great stream. It's finally getting dark. I got a great fire going. I'm really warm. Oh, I don't know that you had it on. Do you think you did? Auspiciousness, there it is. I mean, the real, like I said, if you pluck it out of the Buddhist context and just throw it out there as an English word, it's more or less means good luck. But in the context that I know that you're asking about it, which is the blessing I usually give, it's merit based. I'm trying to transfer some of my merit, some of the auspiciousness, if you will, I've earned, which sort of transmits by way of something called merit, and then transferring it to whoever I'm blessing, hoping that they will also, that my auspiciousness will sort of like breed more auspiciousness on them. So it's like spreading the love, right? Great question, Bone. Did you eat some of that fish tonight? I bet you did. That cookie was like all the other cookies before, sis. Absolutely delicious. Sorry I ate on stream, guys. I'm usually more polite than that. But that was delicious. Best peanut butter cookies in the universe. One of my favorite things to eat of all time. Good on you. I'm not complaining. I got plenty of food up here. But I'm happy for you guys. That sounds delicious. And don't worry, I'll give Zan a peanut butter cookie. Now he's in the house, pouting with Xavier. Come on, my dogs are not skinny, I actually have to work to keep Xavier from blowing up into a basketball. Fish and potatoes. Wow, yes. Cooked on an open flame, guys. We're living the good life up here in the Trinity Alps, man. You see this, everybody else? See, me and Zen and Bone, we all live on the same, basically the same mountain, if you will. Same area. Just dirt roads separate our properties apart from each other. And they're homesteading as well. So everything up here is so much more delightful because you're so far off grid, right? Oh, well, that's three, like, really wild, off the chart schools, but I'll give that a shot. God in the flesh, I'll give it a shot. So, Vajrayana, first of all, is one of the main schools. So it's one of the three, so to speak, right? And so it would break down into a whole bunch of other little things. Like Kagyu and, Nigma and Rigpa and all of that sort of stuff, right? But it's one of the main schools, like up there with like Mahayana and Theravada. Theravada is one of the other three. So it encompasses, again, a whole bunch of little itty bitty, like, schools within that school, right? Same thing, same deal. And Thai forest is one of the traditions or lineages or whatever you want to call it within Theravada. So they would fall within that major school. So that's my shot at that. And what makes you say I would align with Theravada or Thai forest? I don't know. Just seems like that's the direction you sort of lean. But it doesn't matter. I mean, I don't know you well enough that you should ever take that judgment as anything more than a stream host having a light conversation with you. Don't take that too seriously. I don't know. I've met you only a few times on the stream, so I'm not making any kind of a judgment call at all. For all I know, if they're Vajrayana is right up your alley. But I mean, it doesn't. Again, my idea of Buddhism, it's a hologram. It doesn't matter which chunk of it you take. You're going to get to the same space. You're going to get to the same place if that's the right chunk for you. You know what I mean? I mean, if you grab the right piece and it's the piece that fits you, then you're going to get there. And you can call it arahatship, which the Theravadins call it. You can call it, bodhisattva with a capital B. You can call it whatever you want to call it, but you're going to get to that sort of ultimate realizations. It's just a matter of if those tools are the tools that you should be using personally. It's different for everybody. I really think it is, and that's why I think it's wonderful that Buddhism has like literally hundreds and hundreds of schools, probably. I mean, dozens at least, within those three major ones. Well, I just think that, you immediately backed onto what Sakyamuni had said. You were, I don't know if you mentioned it, but you were clearly referring to the Pali Canon and sort of saying, well, it doesn't actually say that there. That's really kind of one of the first things that a Theravada fundamentalist will roll with, right? It's just not in our Bible, right? I mean, it's similar to, like, I don't know, there's like books in the Bible that are in Orthodox, right? But they're not in Catholic, or not in, and there's ones in Catholic Bible that are books that are not in the Protestant Bible, right? They're actually quite different books with a different number of books in them. And so it's similar to that sort of idea, right? And so I just thought I detected, like, that may, and that's fine. I mean, some people are most comfortable and feel most safe, I guess, if you will, spiritually, with only the words that we have a really good idea that Buddha said, which is the Pali Canon. I acknowledge that. I mean, it's the orthodox canon of all of Buddhism, even Vajrayana, for a reason, right? It's the ones that we have the best idea that Buddha actually probably uttered those things, right? But at the same time, for me, as a universalist, my approach to that is that when I need to know what Sakyamuni said, fine. But when I want to know what Amitabha said, which is the cosmic Buddha, who clearly came to Mahayana Buddhists after Buddha passed, after Sakyamuni passed, and most likely in visions, and very likely in psychedelic-induced visions, came to be introduced to Amitabha, the cosmic Buddha, right? So does that mean that Amitabha, cosmic Buddha, is wrong? No more than it means that any of the Christian sects who, came up with the Trinity, for instance, which was a really bizarre theological hoop that they had to jump through in order to try to explain that Jesus was God, right? And so they talked about, God could be three people, but he's one person, he's one God, right? Well, and then they say, well, it's a mystery. They don't even leave it to, they're not even going to explain that to you. They're not even going to try. It's officially like a mystery, right? And so I think I look at a lot of the differences between Mahayana and Theravada and Vajrayana and all of them to be similar to that. And you just really have to decide what you're going to accept. And a universalist Christian, somebody who is practicing what I'm practicing but within Christianity, would say that all of those have something to offer, that the Pentecostals have something to offer, the Catholics have something to offer, the Orthodox Christians trying to do it exactly the way it was done in the Apostles' Day, they have something to offer. I mean, all of that is all good, right? If you're taking a universalist approach to religion. And I don't care what school anybody joins. I don't know that you're necessarily suited to Theravada, but I think if you really enjoy the Pali Canon and you really feel comfortable with words that are, I will 100% vouch for, are most likely the words of Lord Buddha, the Sakyamuni Buddha, then absolutely, and knowing that about you, if I knew that about you, which I don't, I would then say, yeah, sure, Theravada is a good fit. Just keep a universalist approach. Don't needlessly forsake your fellow Buddhists simply because they have a different way of looking at it. I think that's the thing. As Buddhists, we really need to stick together, especially in a world like this where it's so dangerous and everything. And so I really I don't encourage theological debates that involve like going between schools and stuff like that. I just don't encourage that. I don't participate in that. I take an approach that it's all good. I don't like New Age stuff. I don't like innovation, like modern innovation. So the ones that I dislike are the sort of the secular, I call them the non-dualist gurus, right? Who are going to sell you the non-dual potion. You know what I mean? You're going to meditate and become an arahat with using this scientific, secular method of non-dual that enlightenment, right? And you know what I'm talking about. And that crap is like so far removed from what Buddha taught that I just can't. I'm not going to buy into any of that modern stuff. But if it's ancient, if it's got a lineage, and I'm learning about new schools every day that I didn't know exist. And some of them still exist. I mean, like a lot of people don't know that there's an entire separate branch of Vajrayana Buddhism that came straight from the proto Vajrayana, which was in India, long before it was in Tibet or anywhere else. It was in India, and it went straight from India and transmitted to Japan. So there's a whole separate sort of Vajrayana thing going on over there, the Shingon, right? Where, right, and it has similarities. Some of the deities are somewhat the same, but and the method of practice is very much the same, the tantric method. Hey, what? Saying hi to the viewers? Are the wolves coming? Are the coyotes coming? No, you can't leave. You stay right here. No, you're not going to go investigate. I'd rather have the danger come to us. We got a fire up here to keep us safe. Sit here and be nice for the audience. See, he's right there. Right there at my side. See, they can see you kind of on the camera. I'm going to have to turn the light on pretty soon. It works. I'm curious about that. About which part? I'm sorry, I lost the thread. So, you're curious about what? Thank you guys, everybody, for tuning in. Live from the Hermitage. Going into the late night. We've been doing 3-hour shows, regular guys knocking them out, so. No, I think you could shop around. I think the thing is that's dangerous, and the only thing I would advise against is, I mean, you can look around and read about all these different religions. I did, like I said, I studied comparative religion, so I studied pretty much all the major ones, right, in depth. But I discourage people from converting to religions willy-nilly. There lies the road to the funny farm and psych meds, right? So if you're going to adopt a religion, I mean, I took a 1-year discernment period before I converted to Buddhism. They recommended 2. I made it a year before I took my refuge vows, formally for the first time, and that's the danger. right there. Make a good choice. I've made a really good choice. I'm super happy with my choice. Never been a doubt in my mind. Never a shred of doubt. And now more than ever, now that I've gone through this horrible crisis, one of the worst thing I could imagine, one of the worst things in my life has happened to me in the last few weeks, and still my faith is there, holding me up and giving me hope. And so I think that's what we're looking for, right? I mean, I don't care what it takes to make you feel that way. I mean, if you can get that way from becoming a whirling dervish, then start spinning, baby. You know what I mean? If that's what gets you there. For me, I think that religion should answer two basic questions for everybody. And the first one is suffering. Why does the world suck so bad? That really needs an answer, right? And then death, the question of death. What's coming? How do I navigate that space? And where am I going when I get there? Right? So I think that any religion has to answer those two questions for a person, and I think whatever path that's not like completely, violent and creepy and weird, any religious path or spiritual path that begins to answer those questions for an individual, I think is a good thing, an important thing. For me, organized religion has always done pretty well about answering it, but Vajrayana Buddhism has done the best at answering those two questions for me, but only for me. And for other people. Obviously, I have fellow Vajrayana Buddhists, so I'm not the only one who feels this way, but I mean, I'm only proffering that opinion for me. But I think those are two questions that you need to get busy answering, because life is going to continue to suck, right? So that's going to continue to need an answer in your life, and death is coming, whether you like it or not. And it could be tomorrow, right? So, I think these are not just questions that every human should have, but they should be burning questions, and you should be dedicating a good part of your life to finding the answer, wherever it lies, whether it's in some sort of secular science, quantum physics, Buddhism, which, by the way, there's an overlap between those two. I got to go round up my dog and see what the hell he's barking at. Hey, kid! Is it the fire department? If it's not, then shut up. Stop, Sam. There's nobody here, kid. Come on. Come back to the camp. Come on. Come on. I don't need to protect the camp. I got this. I'm going to put some more wood on the fire even. With this, Anybody got any compliments on my fire skills? Pretty good fire, man. Now, you're not scatterbrained, God in the flesh, you're fine. The thing is to write your own ticket, author your own story. Don't get involved in no creepy cults. The minute people start telling you what to do like that, you need to turn tail and run. Religion should serve you, not the other way around. Remember that. Always remember that. No matter what religion you pick. No matter what spiritual path you walk down. It should serve you. And when it stops doing that and it turns the other way around, that's when you're in a cult and you need to go. That's my overall overarching advice to everybody on the whole thing. Write your own story. There are very few humans on earth right now worth worshipping. Very few. And most of them you won't even know. Like, I saw a Lama do a video the other day. He's like, it was entitled, Where have all the arahats gone? And it was all this cynical viewpoint that there's no arahats in modern times. I was like, you're crazy. There's more arahats now alive than there have ever been, but you're not going to see a saint on YouTube. Saints don't go on YouTube. Saints are in caves somewhere, or a hut somewhere in the rainforests of Thailand. They're not, there are tons of saints in Buddhism. Arahats, bodhisattvas. We just don't see them on YouTube. Right? But there's more than there ever were, because there's more Buddhists than there ever were. It's such a cynical viewpoint. There's no saints anymore. Where have all the arahats gone? That's crazy. Why is there suffering? Because we become attached. It's because of attachment. Okay? And I mean, the evidence for this is prima facie. Hold on. I gotta check on to make sure. What are you barking at, dude? Seriously. Is it really necessary? It's just windy, dude. No, just stop. There's nobody here. Be quiet. But it's prima facie evidence. Okay, why do you suffer? Because your wife died. And I'm not saying God in the flesh that your wife died. But let's say you had a wife and let's say she died. Let's also assume that you really loved her. Okay? Why does that hurt? Is it because you have empathy and you think somehow she's worse off? No. Okay? It's because you miss her. Right? And why is that? Because you are attached to the idea of her. And so what Buddhism teaches is that, now that's an extreme example of an attachment, but it's still an attachment. A more less extreme example would be coffee. I love coffee, but I am obviously attached to it because I am literally physically addicted. Okay? If I stop drinking coffee, I will literally get sick. Okay? The attachment is obvious. And so, because of that attachment, I suffer. I suffer, for instance, like I said, when I run out of coffee. Okay? My life is going to really suck. And that happens. I live in a hermitage on the side of a mountain. I might run out of coffee. This happens, right? Right. You felt the permanence of it. Exactly. The impermanence is part of it. It's a big part of it. The realization of impermanence, which is what I'm going through now with my puppy, right? I thought he'd be here forever. I literally did not think that the first doggy stupa that I was going to build in Tara's Grove, I certainly didn't think it was going to be my Bruno's, right? My youngest, right? And so this is, a screaming lesson. Sudden death, tragic death in your life is a wonderful way to begin to grasp the realization of impermanence, right? But that's definitely attached to it. Death is a lot easier for people who already see it as part of the thing. Hey, can you guys stop? Seriously, quit. No, stop. Thank you. My God. No, I said stop. I don't care. Stop. So anyway, I forget exactly where it was in the idea. So, but it's all about attachment. So it can be little attachments like coffee. It can be big attachments like your wife. But it all comes down to suffering is all about attachment. And that's why even people who have everything, who are gazillionaires like Elon Musk, who can snap their fingers and literally make any wish or dream come true, they still suffer, and quite a bit. And why is that? I mean, because if their wife dies, it's still all the same, right? They still hand you your wife in a little urn, and it still feels exactly the same. All them flipping billions of dollars in the bank is not going to change a thing. You're still going to suffer. Right? And you're going to suffer because of the same reason that the poor guy is suffering because of his dead wife, right? So, there's no earthly way out of suffering, is what Buddha taught, and he taught that everybody will suffer, and you'll suffer disease, you'll suffer death, eventually. You'll suffer old age. We're all going to grow old unless we unfortunately die before we grow old. But for me, that didn't happen, right? I'm old. I'm 61, right? I'm here. I've arrived at old age. I can tell you that there's plenty of suffering involved in it. And why is that? Because I'm attached to my youth. I'm attached to being not old, right? And so I suffer in the same measure that I'm, despondent about or attached to the idea of my youth, right? And so what Buddhism then teaches, the next step that Buddha teaches, is he doesn't just tell you the problem, but he gives you the remedy. And the remedy is obvious. You need to stop being attached to things. And then the next obvious question, which is in the fourth noble truth, the last noble truth, and that is, well, how do you do that? And there's a plan. There's an eightfold plan. There's the eightfold path. 8 simple things that you do, and your attachment will begin to get less. Your suffering will begin to get less. Sand, can you stop, please? Stop it, honey. Stop. Sand, stop. I don't care what you hear. There's nobody on the property. It's nighttime. Now be quiet and shut up, dude. Seriously. And so that's Buddhism's answer to suffering. And that was I came from a Catholic background, and so for me that was so much better of an answer than what I was getting from Catholicism, which was basically suffering is all my fault. I was born with original sin, and I just suck, and everybody else sucks. We all are born sucking, and so naturally life is going to suck, and so we all suffer. And the only answer is to just die and go to heaven, right? That's basically, get some grace so that you die in a state of grace and then go to heaven, right? And then things won't suck anymore. And that was a fairly unfulfilling answer to the question. And I found this answer much more logical. It made much more sense, and I could actually put it into practice. When I renounced things, for instance, I renounced, sexual relations with women. Don't miss it at all. Don't miss it at all, and never looked back. And when I did, I stopped suffering over things like broken dates, or girls who don't call me back on the phone, or having to put my profile on a dating site. All of that suffering literally fell away the minute I renounced that. And so that's taught again in the Eightfold Path, is a way to begin to renounce a lot of these attachments, and then to work on the rest of them through things like meditation. That's a big part of it, but also right view, making sure you make a living the right way. All of these things are laid out in the Eightfold Path. So there's that, again, that roadmap. Put all together was so much more of a satisfying answer to the question of suffering than some sort of, like I said, cosmic answer, which just basically, said because I'm flawed, right? I'm messed up. And so that's why I suffer. And so yeah, I hope that answered your question. I can't believe I still got viewers. Do I still got viewers? Seems like my viewer counters get stuck every week. Anyway, guys, we're coming up on the 3-hour mark. I believe we might call it. That's a long show for our Saturday show. Really have enjoyed the conversation, though. I hope everybody comes back. Please remember, tomorrow morning, 10 a.m., bright and early, the Buddhist Sunday service. I'm going to give my first ever, I'm going to read from some scripture and give my first ever teaching. In this case, it's going to be, I can already tell you, a spoiler, it's going to be from the Book of the Dead because of what's going on up here at the Hermitage. But it will be an ongoing show, ongoing thing, and every Sunday will be different as far as focus and teaching. But I'm finally going to teach. So for those who, like I said, very small minority of my crowd who have been pushing me to teach, you should definitely be tuning in tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. And then also on Monday morning and Monday through Thursday every week, I'm going to do my morning talk show, Coffee with the Dharma Bum, and that's going to start at 8 a.m. Pacific time. The Sunday service is 10 a.m. tomorrow Pacific time, and the morning talk show is Monday through Thursday, 8 a.m. Pacific time. So please, everybody, tune in and support the channel. Give a like and subscribe to this video. Please leave comments. That's always helpful too. Why do we attach so damn much? Because we have chosen to be born in a biological form. And it is just simply the nature of it. I guess it falls under the thing of it is what it is. Xander, can you stop, please? Thank you. I don't care what you hear, dude. I guarantee they're not on my property, so shut up. Go back to the tripod here. Yeah, tune into the morning show, guys, Monday through Thursday. Okay, and my battery's getting ready to go too, so that's a good time to end the stream. So I'm gonna roll the closing song, guys. Yeah, I enjoyed the chat with you too, guys. So, but anyways, because we're in biological form, that's the whole idea of getting off the wheel of samsara. It's really part of it's built into the system. That's why it's getting out of samsara altogether, getting control of that situation is so important to a Buddhist. I'm going to do the closing song, guys, because my computer's going to die any second now from lack of power. So, and it's a 3-hour mark anyway. That's about the length of our shows, guys. So see me next Saturday for another live from the Hermitage episode. Almost certainly another campfire. This show starts at 6 p.m. every Saturday, Pacific time. That's Pacific time. So come back next week for another great episode of Live from the Hermitage. In the meantime, tune in tomorrow for the Sunday Buddhist service and on Monday for my talk radio show. See my channel for all the details. Love you guys so much, and let's give them the blessing, boys. So on behalf of me and the boys, may everything be auspicious this week, and we love you all, and come on back to see us real soon.
Hare 収束摂取圧逆